There is no God, there never has been, and there never will be. God is make-believe. And if you believe in God, you are confused. And I am here to help you out with your confusion. No, I'm not live on YouTube right now. Greetings from Toronto. Tap the screen, ladies and gentlemen. All right. How's everybody doing? Is the sound all good? Can you guys hear me all well? Without much ado, I'm just going to go straight to business. When you come up, answer my question. Do not dance gymnastics with me. Hello?
Oh, yo.
Next guest. Can I recommend some books? You should try the Quran, try the Bible, and then try the dictionary. Those are the 3 books I recommend. What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? Hey, no. I agree with you, but I got a quick question. Because I'm kind of new to your channel. Is this the same topic like every week, or do you switch it up sometimes?
Pretty much most of the time, my subject of conversation revolves around the existence of God, one way or another. So sometimes I'll just put a title as "There is no God." That'll be the prompt. Or I could say something like "God is make-believe." It's so much to initiate conversation, but I usually have a specific direction that I want to go in my mind. So for me, honestly, I prefer when the conversations are as organic as possible. It's just that TikTok has community guidelines. If you're smart, I speak to you smart. If you're slow, I speak to you slow. It just depends, right? My goal is not necessarily to demean anyone or make anyone seem a certain way. To a certain extent, I'm learning how not to be a believer or how to be a believer from the people I interact with.
Right. I got a question. Do you feel like I said, I do agree with you, right? So the times that I do watch, you know what I'm saying, you go live on TikTok, everything you say, like, I'm with you, right?
All right.
But I do have a belief that may be a little different from yours.
I mean, that's only natural. It's not even that it may be. If you have beliefs, there's no way your beliefs are going to be like mine. And that's the beautiful thing about beliefs, right? And I think that your beliefs should be like your secrets. You should deal with people in the real world in terms of facts, and then you can entertain yourself with your beliefs in private. Your beliefs can be sensitive, you know. I don't think that you should be so eager to share your beliefs, considering the fictitious nature and the subjective nature of them. Especially when your beliefs is not necessarily backed by observable facts. So if you're going to be stating a belief that has something to do with facts that already exist, then sure. But on some things, you should be very careful. And I think the subject of God is such a subject that, you know, religious people mind why we criticize them. Well, because you're telling me everything you believe. So all I have to sit down here and be like, no, it's this, it's shit, it's that, it's that. You've given me so much to attack. You're always going to be on the defense. And then when you ask me what I believe, I'm going to say, I don't believe in anything. And then you're going to be like, oh, okay, what do you attack? Nothing.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, I got a question there. How about I'm going to put it in the question format. Do you believe that certain religious like aspects kind of keep social order in the world? If that makes sense.
Of course it keeps social order, bro. That's the whole point, right? So the whole point about religion being man-made systems is that men did not make religious systems for no reason. It's for power, but what specific type of power? Power to govern. So religion in of itself is a form of governance. So rather than really comparing or wondering if God exists or not, we should be comparing religious systems of governance versus democratic systems of government as equivalently man-made systems. And that's really what it is. That's why you see that in the United States, for example, when they said separation of church and state, they were separating two types of government. Right? Because religion does have power over people, and it has such a strong grip of power over people. The governments of the world today cannot afford to ignore religious order. So either the government of a country will control their religion, or that religion will control that country. A good example is Iran, right? Iran has a democratic system with a president and everything, except they have a supreme leader who's a Muslim sheikh, right? And because the religious system is so intense there, the religious system takes over governance. It becomes a theocracy. But in a country like America, you know, the religious system is not that powerful. Now, if it was up to a bunch of Americans, they'll make Trump the Pope. You know what I'm saying? But if it was up to a bunch of evangelicals, they'll make Trump some type of religious figure as well, right? They'll make the Bible the official book of the nation. But those Christians in America don't have that type of influence because the system was ultimately designed to avoid that kind of thing. But in some other places in the world, it is. So you see the relationship between religion and the subjects within religion and other forms of governance, like even different forms of monarchies, really. You know, and to a certain degree, they are meshed, so kind of hard to distinguish.
Right.
You know, in some cases, there's joint power, like Saudi Arabia, for example. They're a monarchy, but they're also like how do I put it? A foundational place for Islam. So the Saudi monarchy has this responsibility to protect the legacy of Islam. You know, because honestly, what relevance does Saudi Arabia have enough for it having the Holy Land, Mecca, and the huge influx of Muslims and the huge respect that Muslims all around the world have for Saudis? You know what I'm saying? Muslims, the vast number of Muslims gives them credibility. So you take away Islam, you take away their influence. Now, if you realize, bro, the Western world, within their religious political system, waged war against the Muslim world with their religious political system. They fought 7 crusades. The Muslims lost. The only reason why there's instability in the Middle East, it's a continuation of that old tradition of the Crusades. If an Islamic caliphate arises in the Middle East, or an Islamic stronghold that can rival the West, it won't be long. They'll take Israel. Don't make them, bro, that land, they've been fighting over it. The Europeans and the Arabs and the Muslim world have been fighting over that land for who knows how long, right? We call them the Crusades, and they kill each other. Now they're doing the exact same thing right in front of us. But it's all tight between religion and government. All man-made systems.
Wow. Okay. With that being said, without religion, how would you think the world would be? Like without no type of religion?
Okay. Without religion, altogether, human beings would just replace religion with something else. It could be sports. So human beings are still going to be obsessively fanatic about whatever idea it is that they want to be about, right?
Right.
And honestly, without religion, there's still some problems that religion causes the most that will still exist. For example, there will be other things that can cause people to be extremists, like nationalism, like tribalism, right? So the good thing about if religion did not exist is that if religion technically did not exist, it would take away a lot of things that are kind of symbiotically attached to religion, right? Like tribalism in of itself, there's a religious aspect to it. Our gods have told us that we have to stay in our tribe. We cannot mix with that tribe over there. And then that tribe over there will be like, our gods cannot forgive the innocent blood that these people have shed and their ancestors. There's always that relationship. So is it practical and realistic to imagine a world completely void of religion? No. Now, is it practical to imagine a world where religion evolves, changes, and takes the shape and form and the convenience, accommodating the conveniences of new thinkings? Yes. So, in fact, I was actually thinking this thought today, bro. Check this out. I think that within 100 years in America, Islam will be viewed more positively than Christianity.
Big facts. Big
Yeah.
facts, bro.
Bro, it's so crazy because I don't know, some of you guys are not into American politics, but that whole race that's happening in New York with that Muslim guy, and when I listen to some of the criticisms, bro, this guy is a Muslim, but he's an American and he's able to run for office to be the mayor of New York. And his opponents don't even criticize his policy. They just criticize the fact that he's a Muslim socialist. And I'm just like, why are they so threatened by Islam? Well, because Islam kind of employs the same tactics as Christianity. They can invade your land really slowly in a really nice way. You know, if the bunch of them settle somewhere, they're not going to abandon their religion. They're not going to abandon their tradition. In fact,
change the way of life.
Yes, when there's enough of them, they will even begin to permeate and go into the governance of whatever local area they find themselves in. And then before time, they will gain influence and even win positions of power. Before time, they will begin to influence the laws, and the laws would favor them. For example, in England right now, they say if you go to London, churches close every week, mosque open every day. Because all these Muslims that came out of the Middle East and went to Europe, they stick together. And it makes you wonder why the West continues to favor instability in the Middle East, because you're forcing all those people to move over here. It's almost as though somebody's intentionally wanting people to move out of the Middle East, because they're going to go somewhere, and they're not going to Africa, bro. They're either going to the European world or they're going to America, you know?
Damn, I ain't think about it like that.
But it's a reality of the world we live in, bro. You know, legacies continue. When we think of history as though it's somehow separated. No, the little bit that we learn from history that we can, you would know that it's consistent with reality because you see how it flows into today's society.
And it always repeats itself.
Yep. We know that human beings invent religion and human beings invent political systems, just like we can see it. We know that human beings invade, human beings colonize. We know that human beings brutalize each other depending on who has the most power. So just like ancient Rome would have invaded a country that was next to it, America can invade Iran all day long. They got the bigger bombs, you know. This morning as we're speaking, Russia just dropped a shit ton of bombs on Ukraine. Like, it seems like they just upped the fire, you know. That's just how the world has always been. The only thing that makes it slightly different is that now we have weapons of mass destruction. So if we just let ourselves go like we've always done in the past, refuse to compromise, we will all get destroyed. That's the saddest thing about nukes. But if nukes did not exist, bro, we'll probably be fighting right now. US and China will be exchanging bombs. The only reason why US and China has not exchanged bombs, US and Russia have not exchanged bombs directly, is because they both have nuclear weapons. And it doesn't matter who's the first or who's the last to use it. Everyone loses. Guaranteed. Guaranteed everyone loses. So if there was a way for them to fight without nuclear weapons, oh man. If human nature, sometimes it's just easy to get rid of the problem than to negotiate with it.
Facts. Big facts. Big facts. So it all, like, basically all of this really, like, human nature, it's in a sense of like superiority.
That's the reality of the world. So when I say, listen, bro, saying that God does not exist is definitely a triggering thing, bro, but it encourages people to think, especially people who are marginalized, people who are suffering, people that have any type of struggle that requires that they go the political route to solve that problem. Because this idea that salvation comes from outside of ourselves, that if we're in trouble, there is some type of help that will come from the supreme, from the divine, that idea, bro, it scammed a lot of people and kept a lot of people in torment and suffering. Because if you are able to convince the person you're oppressing that their oppression is ordained divinely, why would they ever resist?
Because it's above them anyway.
Facts.
See, what draw me to you anyway, I'm a critical thinker. So this stuff you be saying, like, I'm fully aware of it, right? And man, I be trying to spread the gospel, man. I get rejected every time, bro. Like,
yeah, that's because you're not supposed to be spreading anything. Let me tell you something, bro. When you realize the truth about the world as it is and you accept your mortality, and you learn to make peace, and you set out to make efficient use of whatever time you have as a mortal. When you understand that, bro, the goal is not to persuade people. You don't deal in terms of drops anymore. You deal now in terms of rain sessions, right? You're not just a drop of rain now. You're the entire cloud. Like you're now talking about producing lightning. You're now talking about covering entire continents, right? If you're dealing as a drop of water, then yeah, you're just a drop of water that came out of a cloud, or you're the cloud, and you got more responsibility. So once you start believing in God, bro, like you realize that, like, if you don't really make the right decision, you could literally fucking die. You could easily make a decision that will lead you to die, because the probability of you dying from a bad decision is equal to the probability of you dying from a good decision, just because there's so much movement around you. You know, you could make a good decision to go to work early, and because you left early, you had a car accident and died. Yeah. You know, you can make a good decision to go to the store and get your wife some stuff that she said to get it, and on your way you get hit on the drive-by by a stray. There's so many things, you know. There's okay. People who went to Gaza to go and help. There's doctors.
Okay. So, but what would be what? Okay, so a person of our nature, what would be our role for us, like understanding, right? Not my role in life, you know, dealing with people day to day, but just more so like. My bad,
brother. If you found yourself in this life, what it means to find yourself, what it really means when they say find yourself, is in figure out what you can do. That's what it means to find yourself in the most practical sense. You will know you found yourself when the aspect of yourself you found is a skill, a talent, something you can act upon, something you can demonstrate, and something with a potential for growth. That is, in terms of behavior, that's what mimics what we observe biologically with life. Life is anything that has, any organism that has the ability to replicate, reproduce, and all that kind of stuff, right? So you will find yourself when you realize that you have the ability to produce the ideas that come out of your mind and turn them into, use the resources in the world to turn it into something special, especially if that something is a problem-solving something. If the thing is a problem-solving thing, an idea, let's say you had an idea and it's a problem-solving idea and you're able to make it materialize, bro, you can easily become wealthy like that. That's really the key to getting wealthy. And to be real with you, bro, we complain about so many problems in society, but most of us offer no solutions, because if we were in the business of offering solutions, we will all be business peoples on here. Most of us cannot find a problem and solve that problem originally. Most of us don't even burden ourselves with that thought, you know, because to be honest, most people, especially those who believe in God, don't think it's their responsibility. As far as they're concerned, especially coming out of the Abrahamic religions, this world is fucked anyways. So there's just some things about this world that you shouldn't go above and beyond for, you know. Now, if you go to the ones who are most extremist about their beliefs, especially in Christianity, oh no, Jesus could come back at any time. So there's just some things in this world that you shouldn't worry about. You could be in church praying rather than trying to fix problems that are not even going to go away. In fact, based on Islamic and Christian eschatology, shit's supposed to go down before Jesus comes back. And they believe they're living in the end times. So from their perspective, the world is supposed to be in chaos, not in order. In fact, they hate the idea of a new world order, or any type of order anyways. Because if all of a sudden there's peace in this world, and then people are not fighting each other, there's no natural disasters, all of a sudden they can't claim that their Bible prophecies are being fulfilled. They will have to face the reality that they believed in a lie. Bro, do not underestimate how much Christians believe, to the extent of wanting the belief to be real. That if you take away the real possibility that Jesus, if you did something in this world to prove 100% that Jesus is never coming back, you will shatter, bro. You will shatter a lot of people's world, bro. Sometimes it's best when it's just vague. Yeah.
Damn.
Anyways, bro. One last question before you can give me one question before you go, so I can go back to my disagreement. But look, bro, it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's not. It's not even a matter of debating. It's not a matter of argument. It literally is a conversation that can take whatever shape And at the end of the day, I already know I'm not going to change people's minds, and people are not going to change my mind. But if we think about what we say to each other, then the possibility of us changing our own minds is high.
Right. So just to recap, use my strength, my critical thinking strength for productivity, basically.
Yes, sir. You will know what it means to know yourself is to know what you can do. Say, hey man, what can you do? I can do it. Can you do a backflip? What it means to know yourself in that situation is to know if you can do a backflip. And you will not know if you don't try it. That's where practice then comes in. And then upon further practicing, mastery is born. And then once mastery is born, a discipline is also born. And that discipline can now be taught. And then once it's taught, then you can form a lineage. Once you form a lineage, you form a school of thought. Once you form a school of thought, you can form a nation at that point, and it begins with problem solving and what you can do. That is why most people go around saying that they can do things that they cannot do, because they haven't understood themselves from that perspective. That in the practical sense, that's what it means. Yeah, and you don't have time to be chasing fairy tales. Bro, if human beings invested 100% of their effort and wasted no second, and they used their time most efficiently, people would not have time for supernatural shit.
We'll be living heaven on earth, won't we, man? No,
I don't know if we'll be living in heaven or earth, but we would find it easier to solve problems, and we will make many more improvements than we currently are making right now. A lot of the problems in the world will go away with time, bro. As technology improves, the standard of living of even the laziest people would improve. It's just that it takes time. And unfortunately, we have to endure some of those sufferings. And whether you like it or not, believe it or not, many of the governments of this world know that. I don't think that Israel sits down there and intentionally wants to kill kids in Gaza because they like to do it. I think that they're in a position from their perspective where they feel like they have to do it, and unfortunately it's just collateral damage. It's nothing personal. And that's how they truly feel and believe. It's so crazy, right? And that's how the world moves. It's the survival of the fittest.
That's it.
You can believe all the shit you want. Okay? Israel believes that land belongs to them because God gave them. But when it was time for war, did they wait for God? Hell no. Hell no. Iran believes in God and all that stuff. They believe God is coming back. When they got bombed, did they wait for Allah? Nope. And yet, they teach you in your individual life that you should wait for God. No. It's just for show. Never wait for God. Never ask God for anything. You're wasting your time. Learn how to take the contingencies to prevent, things going wrong in the future. Always have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If all your plans fail and you reach a point of complete hopelessness, at that point, you can even call on Santa Claus. In fact, at that point, don't just call on one God. Call on all of them.
Man, you crazy.
Yeah, bro. If you reach the point where you've exhausted every humanly possible resource, then guess what? At that point, doesn't matter. You're completely hopeless. You're in despair. At that point, you can then say, oh, Allah, if you're real, help me. Jesus, if it's you, help me. Oh, Shiva. At that point, you can call out to all the gods. And then whichever God is real, if they hear you, they'll pull up and be like, I am Lord Shiva of the Indians. I am here to save you from your problems. Oh, he could pull up. He could pull up and say, I am Allah. Oh, he could pull up like Jesus speaking in tongues. It's a heavenly language. And then if God then pulls up at that time, bro, there will be no doubt. Unfortunately.
They don't get you, bro. They don't get you.
Bro, if you can believe in God and still be environmentally aware, then God is pretty much a luxury. But if the God idea absorbs your mind so much that you lose touch with your day-to-day reality, then guess what? You're living in a recycle bin.
Do you think people, I believe this, I think a lot of people have a sense of, put so much faith in religion to avoid accountability. You think so?
Yeah, because the system naturally primes them to always give up quickly. That's really what it is. So if they have a problem, their first instinct is to pray. So they go into every problem with a loser's mentality without even knowing, without consciously. Bro, if I had a problem that I knew that I 100% had the resources to solve, I'm not thinking help. I'm thinking act. But as soon as I have a problem that I realize I don't have the resources to solve by myself, I'm thinking help. So guess what? If something happens to you and your first instinct is to let God know, as though God wasn't watching the whole fucking time. that means you're already conceding that, yeah, this problem, I can't solve it on my own. That's literally what they are taught. They're taught you can't do anything on your own. But yeah, you can do something on your own. You eat, shit, sleep, fuck on your own. Why can't you do the rest of the things in this world on your own? No, you can do it on your own, but it's okay to ask for help from other people. That's the moral of the story. Don't be so prideful that you cannot ask for help. Your fellow human beings are your best allies in almost every situation in this world. One of the simplest joys of our lives is when you get up in the morning and you go outside and you see somebody else. It doesn't matter what that somebody else is doing. There is a sense of safety that we have by being around each other that sometimes we're not grateful for.
Damn, I ain't never looked.
If you don't believe me, ask those Africans. Most of them cannot walk outside at night in Africa. If a leaf shakes, they would think it's a demon. But guess what? If there was 100 people on that road at night in Africa, you wouldn't be scared of a witch or a wizard or of a black cat or something, or of a ghost or of a spirit. But if it's just you on that dark road at night, and then you see those leaves shaking, but you see no one there, how many of you are gonna go investigate? Wow. The first thing, bro, if don't quote me, bro. Just do your own experiment. Find any African religious person that you know. If something startled them, the first thing to come out of their mouth is Jesus.
Facts.
Jesus. You see, that's a loser's mentality, bro. First and foremostly, a truly disciplined person should learn not to be panicking when there's a problem. When something goes wrong, the first thing you need to do is calm down, take a deep breath, analyze the situation with as sober of a mind as possible. Anytime something goes wrong, analyze the problem with as sober as a mind as possible. What do I mean sober? So don't be in a state where your mind is emotionally controlled. The moment you get into your feelings about that problem, it will affect your ability to analyze that situation. So when something happens, you can take a step back real quick, analyze it as though it has nothing to do with you. If you can analyze it with that sober mind, you're more likely to find the root cause of that problem sooner and not have to endure many sufferings. But many people panic. For religious people, a logical solution is their last option. Their first option is a superstitious, superficial solution to problems. And that's causing problems in this world. Because you can live a lifestyle that makes you a problem creator. If you're not solving problems, you'll probably be creating problems. Yeah, there's some people that are neutral in the middle. They're not really solving, they're not really creating. But even that kind of lifestyle is depressing. You know? If you're not solving problems in your life. So think of how many things you have to pray for. Anyways, bro, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
All right. See you, man.
Yes, sir.
One more question before I go. I ain't gonna talk you to death. Do you have like some type of like mentor setup or something like that where people can like pay for your time?
Bro, check this out, bro. I'm gonna be creating a Discord here within 2 days where we can actually really start having conversations with people that think the way I think. And bro, it's all about action. It's been 4 years too late. You don't even know the plans I had when I started on TikTok. But reality, I'm a realist, right? Reality has made me to adjust my plans a lot. But there's no rush, bro. There's no rush. You know, you're in a hurry to go where, bro? Your heart cannot beat faster than it's beating. You know, so take your time. One thought at a time. In fact, the more you learn how to simplify things, the easier it will be to figure out the world around you. That's why when we went to school and we studied math, bro, they literally taught us what a problem is. And how to solve a problem is to simplify. So if you have a problem, you have the formula. Use the formula to simplify the problems. And when you simplify it down to the smallest, computable unit, you get the solution. And what's the solution? The solution, you just plug it in. Easy money. They taught us that. We all learned that in school.
Right on.
We all learned that with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, you can solve most simple problems in life. You know, it's all calculation. Calculation is analysis. You know, most simple problems, it just comes in. You need to add some more time, subtract some more people from your life. Sometimes you need to divide your time up, change the division. It's a perfect combination of them, you know. And bro, that's how scientists find solutions to problems. They just take a problem and put it in numbers. And we've all had basic education. You know, yeah, sure, educational system gives us what we need to be good workers, but they still give us enough to where anyone who is self-driven can exceed just being a simple worker. You can wrestle with the system. Thank you so much, brother.
In case I miss your live when you announced the Discord, are you gonna put it in your bio?
Yeah, for sure.
Right on, bro. Hey, man, you take care, brother.
Man, thank you so much, my brother. You be blessed so much, man. And feel free to always come up. If you come up, bro, I totally have this kind of conversation with you. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Brother.
Tap the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Please let us get to 50,000 likes. What's going on, man? Your sound is a little bit noisy. Is there any way to get somewhere where the sound is better? Hello? Come on. Come on. I'm going to drop you, bro.
That's my friend.
Oh, hell no. It's called Deconstructing. Bakanga Gang. Good morning. Words is the game. Turn your eyes on Jesus and stop watching the AI. If you believe that artificial intelligence is the Antichrist, you make me sad. If you believe that artificial intelligence is satanic, demonic, you are pitiful. Okay? Dear Christian brothers and sisters, you don't have to freak out every time a new technology is introduced into the world. How many times are you and your predictions gonna be wrong for y'all to learn that there aren't any Bible prophecies being fulfilled? There aren't any Bible prophecies being fulfilled. All Bible prophecies are part of the make-believe system of Christianity. It's to keep you eternally guessing. Okay? Jesus isn't coming back. But people are going to be eternally waiting for him. Who really benefits? Those that run the system. Who really benefits from people living their lives with this anticipation of imminent alien invasion? Oh, forgive me, Jesus' return. Technically an alien invasion. That's what Jesus is coming back. Yeah. I mean, I would like someone to tell me how Jesus is going to come back in a way that does not look like an alien invasion. Shit, even at that time, Israel is going to be asking Iran for help to bomb those motherfuckers. Israel will be like, Iran, help us out. Even Ukraine and Russia wouldn't be fighting anymore if Jesus came back. Everybody's going to be launching their missiles up there. Even Kim Jong-un from North Korea. Woo! You know, the world has disrespected North Korea for a long time. I imagine that if Jesus comes back, Kim Jong-un will be like, let North Korea handle it. People of humanity. North Korea alone. Brother Hunter, please do not pray for me. Pray for those men and women and children who are dying in Palestine, okay? Anybody who's watching me right now, if you disagree with me so much that the kindness in your heart has put a feeling in your heart that you should pray for me, I am giving you permission to take the prayers that you have for me and put it towards those innocent men, women, and children and social workers and health workers who are dying in Gaza. Pray for them. When your God saves all those people dying in Ukraine and Russia, I will be happy. You see? Am I not a great person? Am I not a kind person? I am so kind-hearted. I am willing to let you use the prayer you were going to give me to save innocent lives. Except prayers don't work. Psych. You thought you had me scammed. Prayers don't work. Okay? When you're thirsty, you don't pray. When you're hungry, you don't pray. When you're constipated, you don't pray. When you have a headache, you don't pray. So why do you pray when you have cancer? You didn't pray when you had the flu. You went and took flu medicine. You didn't pray when you were constipated. You took some laxatives. Now you have cancer and all of a sudden you're in church every day, speaking in tongues. Don't you guys see the problem here, ladies and gentlemen? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Was I tripping on that last point, guys? Was I tripping? Ladies and gentlemen, tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. Let's get a 50,000 likes. Well, 26,000. Hello?
Hey, yo.
What's going on?
Well, not much. How you doing?
I don't know, brother, but can you tell me why you believe in God? Give me your best reason. Give me a reason that sounds so good that if someone heard you, they would not necessarily have to agree with you, but they can be, that makes sense.
No, I'm not convinced or convicted to that direction, but somehow I think prayers do work in, and I'll explain it to you. I'm not a believer. I mean, I'm still struggling to understand why I should be a believer or not. So I'm in between. But
hold up. Are you in between radio stations? Because you sound like you're bouncing from radio station to radio. Is that your natural voice?
Yes. Yeah, that's my natural voice.
Is it just me or is it your microphone? But you sound like you should be on the radio making announcements.
No, I shouldn't. No. Let me just.
All right, brother. No, brother. Why do you believe in God?
No. As I said, I don't believe in God, but I'm trying to.
You don't believe in God at all?
Somehow that's why I told you. I'm in between being convicted or we are indoctrinated from our child. I mean, from when we were.
Yeah, I get it. I don't want to deal in the gray. I want to deal in black or white.
Black or white.
Yes. So if you're still somewhere confused, then because that's what I think it is. I think the subject of God is so simple. No one should be confused about it. It's a fairy tale. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. But if you're still somewhere between, maybe previous indoctrinations and the reality of the world, if you're still somewhere in between there, then it seems like you've been coping just fine. So I wouldn't mind leaving you to continue on your journey. If you're agnostic, you're confused. If you're agnostic, you're confused.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what agnostics is, just a glorified confused person, and it's not a bad thing to be confused. It just means nothing makes sense that's presented in front of you on either sides.
Fair enough, but can I answer you why I feel like prayer works?
I'll give you 20 seconds to make that because it's not my subject of conversation, but go ahead.
Okay. I feel like when people pray, they kind of relax. It's like a meditation. It calms them down, and they kind of filter out their necessary voices or their necessary noise, and they concentrate and focus to what they should be focusing to succeed in whatever they are doing. I'm not talking about the prayer that you wait for a miracle, that you're thirsty and you're asking for water.
Yeah. In that sense, if you're praying and you're not talking to God, then that's not prayer. It's just self-reflection. Prayer is when you're talking to God. That's what prayer is. Okay, prayer is not talking to yourself. Self-reflection, I speak to myself. Sometimes I have a problem and I look at it from two different perspectives. Sometimes I play chess against myself. We all talk to ourselves at some point. The problem is that some of us, when we talk to ourselves, we don't know that that's what we're doing. We think we're talking to a God. So there's no point in focusing if you're focusing on something which is not there anyways. But
And that's your way. And that's your way of coping with it. That's your way of coping.
Yes,
with
it's understandable, but it is detrimental, to be misconstrued about what a person is doing when they're doing it. It's good to be realistic about what you're actually doing. Then you would know how to do it. Like I said, people who understand that prayer is just talking to yourself, you will find more creative ways of doing it rather than the ritualistic prescriptions given to you through your religion, because everyone certainly will not do things the same way. Especially when you go into this religious environment, certain prayers are ritualistic in nature and repetitive, right? Memorized, like Our Father who art in Wakanda, hallowed be thy name, the kingdom come. You know what I'm saying? So something like that. I think that other than for emotional gratification, there's really no working in that sense, as in you're speaking to a God that can hear you out and respond to your problem as you have demanded. That does not work. That's what I mean. If you're just talking about some type of human therapy associated with self-communication, intraspecies communication, then yeah. Thank you for your time, brother. Appreciate you.
You're welcome, man. All right, man. Thank you. Have a good one.
There is no God, there never has been, there never would be. Thank you, Viola. I appreciate you for that mute.
Yo,
Why do you believe in God?
I believe in God. Let me not talk about God, but let me talk about something real quick. For something to exist, there have to be something.
Forget about that. I said to you, why do you believe in God? You cannot just ignore my
I
topic.
believe in God because I believe there is something out there. If you look up there,
Hold up.
look
You
at
believe in God because you believe there is something out there. That's the reason why you believe in God.
no, there are signs, trees,
Brother.
animals,
You said to
stars,
me,
the moon.
you just said to me, I believe in God because I believe there is something out there. That's what you just said.
Yes, that shows because something created that. Nothing can create if there is nothing. Something have to create something.
Brother, I want you to repeat what you just said. You believe in God because you believe that there's something out there. So your belief in God is based on another belief that you haven't even
It's
proven
not
yet.
based on another belief. If it is evidence and proof, there are signs around you. See, there is a soul in you.
Okay, hold up.
Let me
No,
talk something
no,
real quick.
no. Stop going into the library of your brain and picking out random books. Slow.
Okay, I'm
Slow
listening.
yourself down. You're flipping
All
the
right,
pages quicker than you can read, man. You're typing
all right,
you're typing faster than the computer can.
all right. You want to hear me out?
When I asked you to give me your reason why you believe in God, I didn't say give me some superficial reason. If your reason doesn't make sense to me, I'm not talking to you about anything else. That's why you take some time and think
The
about it.
reason why, okay, let me
Hold
give
up,
you an
brother,
example.
hold up.
Okay,
You should take your time and think about it. Whatever reason it is that you believe in God, I want it to be a reason that someone who has common sense can listen and be like, that makes sense, even if they don't agree with you. But if you tell me something that's blatantly stupid, brother, I would just describe what I'm hearing to you and then go on to the
all
next
right.
guest.
Give me one more chance to just say this, please.
Okay,
Sorry.
so give
One
me
more
your
chance.
best reason why you believe in God.
So, for example, the human heart. Oh, wait, let me finish, please. Just let me finish. Hear me out, please. The human heart pumps blood, but it pumps blood. But there is something that is in the heart that is a soul. The human heart just pump blood. There is a soul. For something to create that, it has to be holy too. like a spirit. The heart just pump blood, but there is a soul in us that we can't see. That's what I'm saying, because we're a spiritual being, but we are covered by the body. Something has to make that.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Have you been to school, my brother?
Well, I don't know if you don't understand what I'm saying.
Brother, have you been to school?
There are signs out there.
My brother, have you been to school now?
Well, yes, I've been to school. Why not?
Up to what level?
I finished high school.
When you were in high school, did you learn about the anatomy and physiology of a human being?
I didn't study that in school.
Brother, have you ever learned about the anatomy and physiology of a human being? Yes or no?
I have an idea of the anatomy of a human being.
Okay.
Yes,
Hold up now.
Your question is,
brother, please relax.
Why do you believe in God?
Brother, relax. Right now, all you have to be doing, you only have one job right now. Give me answers. Short, brief, straightforward, strong answers.
I did give you answer already. I gave you an example.
Like I said, you're going to give me answers until I'm satisfied. If not, brother, you can go. If you don't have answers, what's the point of you coming up here?
There are answers everywhere now.
Calm down.
I'm calm down. I mean, okay. Right now.
Since the day you have been born in this world, have you ever seen it on the news, heard it somewhere that they found a soul inside a human body?
There is a soul.
Brother, answer my question. Have you ever heard it said anywhere? Brother, hold up now. Since the day you were born in this world, whether it was in the news, whether it was a rumor, have you ever heard that they have found a soul inside a human body?
It's who we have.
Brother, have you ever heard that they have found a soul in a human body? Yes or no?
People can see that because you can see.
Brother, answer my question. He said yes or no.
All right, I got one for you too. Can you see her?
Brother, if you don't answer my question, I'm dropping you.
You can't see a soul in a person.
All right, thank you for your time.
Something you can.
Human beings don't have soul. The word soul is a metaphor for human memory, behavior, character, all abstract things. There's no soul inside of you, my friend. Certainly not in your chest. You know, the human heart pumps blood. It cannot do it on its own. There is a soul inside. Somebody need to find all the people who educated you and punish them for doing such a poor job. Or somebody has to find whatever religious people educated you and prosecute them for causing or facilitating the damaging of a young man's brain. There is no God, there never has been, there never would be. Why do you believe in God? I don't think that religious people have a good reason to believe in God. That's why when you ask them the question blatantly, give me the smoking gun. What is the smoking gun? What is the definitive reason that persuaded you beyond shadow of doubt for you to believe in God? That's why when you ask them, why do you believe in God? Some of them can't even go straight to the question. They start giving you examples. My friend, I didn't ask you for an example. I said, why? Literally, this last guest, he just started with, for example. You don't even know why you believe in God. You think you believe in God. You think you have reasons why you believe in God, but you never have really thought about what exactly convinced you. Is it possible that you believed without even knowing that you had believed? Just because you were born into it, it was just the norm? Is it possible that you were in an emotionally compromised state when someone introduced you to a religion and you thought it was cool, but since you've been in that religion, it did not turn out to be what you expected? What's going on, Redemption Call?
Peace, my brother. What's goody?
I'm doing all right. Why do you believe in God? Give me your
I
smoking
don't.
gun.
I don't believe, brother. I know. And what they say, knowing is half the battle. I know, brother. I know, cause why? I'm God, brother. I'm God. God is a mindset. I'm God. I
Hold
know I'm God.
hold
And
up.
my mindset can't nobody tell me different.
All right.
I'll be a fool to allow somebody to tell me I'm not God. Why would I take on somebody else's theology? I'm God.
So what you're saying is that you don't believe in God.
What? I just told you I am God. I
But
don't
you,
believe. I know, brother. I don't believe.
yeah.
I don't
So
like that
if you
word. I
don't
know.
believe, but you know, it means you don't believe in God, right?
You right, brother. You won that. You won that. I don't believe if I know. You right. I can't
So
argue with
why are
that.
you coming to talk to me when you already lost the
Oh,
conversation?
well, excuse me, my brother. I apologize. Peace.
Yeah. The real question was, why do you believe in God? You're not a believer. You're not a believer, brother. You see? Some religious people have a coping mechanism. Because they know they don't have a reason why they believe, they will just think to themselves, well, what if I say I don't believe? What if I say I know? You don't know shit. You ain't no God. You just a man. Flesh and blood. With an organic pump on your chest, pumping till the day it expires and puts out the flames of your existence. If God's not make believe, why does God lose relevance once you stop talking of God? If God's not make believe, why does God lose relevance once you stop talking and participating in all your religious rituals? What's going on, Kevin? What you got for me, man? Hello, Kevin? Hello, Mr. Kevin Holland?
How are you?
Where you at, my
Hear me?
brother? Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I am in America. You?
I am on the planet Pluto.
Alrighty.
I am currently engaged in a diplomatic, cosmological, galactic appointment with the diplomats of heaven. I was sent from the
Right
Batibo
on.
tribe.
Right on, brother. Yeah.
If you think I was crazy, you're going to hell for saying that. If you think that what I just said right now was cuckoo, if you think I was just tripping, you're going to hell. I'm praying for God to prepare a special place for you on the flames.
Right. So,
anyways, brother, why do you believe in God?
why do I believe in God? Well, from a personal experience, there's many different reasons, right? But from a scientific explanation, and this is my claim. I'm not one of these people.
No, check this out, brother. So check this out. In order to avoid us going back and forth, let me really phrase the question so you can give me exactly the answer I intend, so I don't kind of lead you on into different subjects.
Okay.
I want you to give me. You believe in God, right?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
So even if there's 10,000 reasons, there would have had to be one reason that was a smoking gun, right? So give me your best reason. Give me that best reason why you believe in God. If it makes sense to me, then I think we can continue the conversation. If it doesn't make sense to me, then I'll tell you what I think of it, and then we just leave it there.
Well, I went through a period of time. I was saved and baptized at 9 years old, right? And being that young, if you understand spirituality, right, as being a Christian, Satan doesn't really bother you unless you are a Christian, right? He will actually help you destroy your life until you run into that brick wall, right? So for years I was a practicing Christian, right? And then I become not, I wouldn't say non-believing, but I got to a standstill in my life to where the church that I was going to just wasn't producing the I guess you could say the meat that I was ready for. The really the understanding, a full adult understanding of what God is and where He comes from and this, that, and the other. So anyhow, as I was working one day, I sat down on a stump and I got to looking around my environment, right? And it just come to me. How in the world can we live on this big old rock, whether you believe it's round or flat? Doesn't make any difference to me. What other people believe don't make any difference. But how can we live on a planet with everything we need to survive and it not have some kind of design behind it?
Let me answer that question with another quick question.
Okay.
How can we be living on a planet with everything we need to survive by design if we still end up not surviving by dying anyways, randomly, in no specific order, for no specific reason, by design?
Well, that in itself actually proves
do we really survive? We don't. We survive for a while, but ultimately we can see that this environment doesn't give us everything we need to survive, because if not for our ability to reproduce, it only takes one generation for us to go extinct. So if something affects our ability to reproduce, then all of a sudden survival is a myth, right? So ultimately you cannot say that is necessarily design, because we don't observe design when it comes to birth in terms of when a person is born, which specific sperm fertilizes the egg. We don't observe design when a person dies in reference to when they were born. There's no direct correlation there, right? Like, why was this person born on Monday and why did they die on Tuesday? Why did God design it that way? We don't observe any direct correlation. So I can see how you could have sat down that day and be overwhelmed by everything around you and ask such a relevant question. But the reality is that, wow, that shows you how much you don't know about the world and how much the world is different from how you were expected to be. That's the realest answer you could have given yourself. Not to jump to a conclusion without any specific evidence backing it. Because so far, at the end of the day, if you go and investigate those rocks, you won't find a God there, which is the best thing you can do. If you want to know how the rock got there, you have to study it. You're not going to find a God. We went and we studied it. And the smaller we go, no God do we find. Even when we look up into space, the broader we go, no God there. So guess what? If a God exists somewhere, one way or another, we're going to encounter that God there. But until then, whatever you believe in your head, you're just making it up, due to your lack of understanding of the world.
No, not actually, because the atoms, even though we look at a rock as a dead object, right? That rock is not actually dead, because the atoms, the molecules, particles, everything about that rock.
No, the rock is dead by definition. The rock doesn't have the ability to reproduce. It doesn't have
the atoms that.
Yeah, but the atoms is not the rock. The atoms, the atoms itself is not the rock. The rock is the form that the atoms take once put together. Just like the brick is not the wall.
That's right.
The brick is not the wall.
So where do they get the information to make that rock?
They did not get the information to make that rock. That rock wasn't made, though it was formed, but it wasn't formed intentionally.
Okay, so
hold up. It wasn't formed intentionally. It was formed as a byproduct of different natural forces acting against each other and intentionally affecting the environment. It's kind of like water flowing. Water doesn't intend to erode the soil. It's just in the water's nature to flow. And anything that doesn't have enough resistance to the flow of the water will be swept away, not by design, but because that's just how those two properties interact with each other. Design implies intentionality. And I always say it this way. If someone says something was designed, you should ask them for the blueprint. If they can't give you a blueprint, then it's not designed. Because what I think our reality is showing us, bro.
But we do know the blueprints.
No, hold up. What reality is showing us that most
We do
people,
know the blueprints.
No, hold up. What reality is showing us that most religious people are in denial about, bro, is simple. Religion is showing, the reality is showing us that order can emerge out of chaos without any specific intentionality. So all we have to do now is figure out how. And the only way to figure out is to keep breaking down the atom and going down to the subatomic level and trying to study how the smallest things in existence interact with each other and try to run scientific experiments. That's the best we can do. But based on what we can observe right now, we are observing order emerging without any specific intentionality. And it works as good as it is to where we don't need to imagine a God. Now, if we observe anything that remotely implies intentionality, then we will know that, okay, perhaps there is a designer. But even imagining a designer would not necessarily imply that it's a God. It could be a different form of life, right? And then that will now make us to redefine, what are we? Can we be considered alive? Because mind you, bro, when we say life on earth, not all life on earth is the same. Human life is not the standard by which life must be defined. It's just a type of living thing.
Okay, how much do you know about energy?
I know enough to tell you that it ain't got nothing to do with God.
How does the human body function?
Bro, that's basic biology, you know. We need food to convert that food into usable energy.
Okay, so if you move your hand, your fingers on your hand, right? How do the muscles know that you're telling them to move that? It's the energy in your brain, right? Electricity.
Yeah.
Your brain fires and then your muscles react, right?
Yeah, it's neurological.
Okay, so what happens to that energy? When we pass away? What is that energy in our body?
The same thing that happens in life.
Can energy be destroyed?
Hold up.
Can energy be destroyed?
Hold up. Let me ask you a question, okay?
It can be transferred.
Sure.
It can be transferred, but it cannot be destroyed.
Sure. Let me ask you a question. What happens to lightning when it strikes the ground?
It's transferred. But lightning actually doesn't strike the ground. The charge actually comes up from the ground to the sky. Look it up. It's crazy. Listen. I'm speaking
in common terms.
Well, me too. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What happens when lightning strikes the ground? Where does the lightning go?
Where does the lightning go? It's transferred into the earth.
In what form?
Or it's actually transferred back up into the clouds.
And when it's transformed, is it still lightning?
It will still remain. It will.
Is it still lightning?
Into.
I can't hear you.
But it isn't destroyed.
Is it still?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it still? Is it still lightning?
It will stay an electrical charge.
Brother,
something else.
Brother, is it still lightning?
It's still an electrical charge, which is the definition.
Brother. When lightning strikes, and after the lightning has struck, what happens to the energy?
Thunder. It turns into thunder. So it's transformed, right?
No, it doesn't turn into thunder, bro.
No, it turns into thunder.
No, lightning doesn't turn
noise, right? So it's transferred.
Lightning doesn't turn into thunder.
It's transferred.
Lightning doesn't turn into thunder. Thunder is the sound that is produced when the lightning strikes. The thunder, the sound itself, and the lightning is two different things.
So it's a transformation of
No. So check this out. The lightning dissipates, okay? The electrons that make up the lightning, they dissipate, and it's no longer lightning. What makes it lightning is the unique form and combination of those electrons at that specific point in time for whatever duration they remain together. Once it's disembodied, it's no longer lightning, though the electrons will still be electrons. Now, what makes you a human being is the unique combination of all the cells that make up your body in the current form that you are. So your existence is like the apparition of the lightning. It's just is that your existence can go for a strike of maybe 100 years, right? Once the cells that make up your body are disembodied, cellularly, yeah, those atoms remain atoms, but your existence ceases to be, just like that specific lightning. I could ask you the same question: where does the light go when I turn off the light bulb? Where does the light go when I turn off the light bulb? Does the light go somewhere? No, it dissipates.
You stop transferring the light. But whatever that light touches, if it's on a plant,
Brother,
will receive that energy and transform it into something else.
Brother, you're not getting it. The light in of itself is not just the energy that makes up the light, but is the unique way that the energy is in. That's what the light is. Once the energy dissipates, it's no longer the light. For example, wood is wood, right? When I burn that wood, there's a transformation, and then what's left? What do we call it? Ash. So it becomes something else. The ash is not the wood. The ash is not the wood. The ash is not the wood. So guess what?
And that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Guess what? Once your body has disembodied and decomposed and you turn to dust, that's not you anymore. You will never exist anymore.
So you define.
You will never exist anymore.
So you deny Newton's law. So you deny Newton's law that for everything in motion stays in motion,
unless acted upon by an external force. An object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by an external force. That has nothing to do with this conversation, brother. Like I said,
exactly.
Yes, your existence is temporal.
But
so it has nothing to do with design.
Our existence is by design.
No, sir.
It's by design.
No, sir. It's not.
Even beyond.
Let me ask you something. Hold up. Let me ask you something. What is the meaning of the word design?
It means that there is a creator, or somebody sat down and
listen, brother. What does the word design?
Instructions to something.
What does the word design mean? He's gonna go look it up. It's all right, bro. Don't worry about it. Let me just ask Meta. Hey, Meta.
It seems like I'm here and ready to chat. What's on your mind?
Can you guys hear Meta?
I'm Meta. I'm not sure what you mean by "can you guys hear Meta"? Could you clarify?
It's okay, Meta. Meta, what does the word design mean?
The word is intentional creation or planning of something's look, functionality, or structure. It can apply to various fields, such as graphic design, interior design, product design, or even the design of systems and processes. In essence, design is about crafting something with a specific purpose or aesthetic in mind.
And when we define this word, do we take into consideration design outside of the context of human beings? Because all what you just described to me seems like human activity. So what if something appears to be crafted or designed, but it's not done by human beings? Can we still call it design just because it resembles what human beings do when they design?
Interesting. That's a fascinating philosophical question. When we talk about design, we often associate it with human intention and creativity. However, nature itself can exhibit patterns and structures that resemble design, like the intricate patterns on a leaf or the architecture of a beehive. In those cases, we might use the term design metaphorically or to describe the functional efficiency of those natural systems. Some people argue that design can be observed in nature, independent of human intention, while others insist that design implies a deliberate act of creation, which would exclude natural phenomena. The term intelligent design is sometimes used to describe the idea that certain features of the natural world show signs of being designed by an intelligent being. However, This concept is often associated with controversy and debate. Ultimately, whether we consider natural patterns or structures as design depends on our perspective and the context in which we're using the term.
So, brother, what that simply means is that if you're not using design in the context of human beings, you're talking about it metaphorically. So that's not literally true. So yeah, if you mean design metaphorically, sure, I guess. But in the literal sense that the world was designed, no. Metaphorically excludes the intentionality. Thank you for your time,
But
Kevin.
you still can't erase you still can't erase the concept of design, because humans can't have fish for babies, right? So there is a design there.
No,
right?
it's not
And like I
design.
said at the beginning of this,
It's not design.
that is a design.
No.
Okay.
It's just based. No, the principle that helps us understand that is that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, of course, yeah, human beings are not going to produce fish. That's fictitious, because the idea of a human being producing a fish would no longer be reproduction. Now, if you're asking me if human beings can use other means to make a fish, yeah, we can make a fish, right? We could make a toy fish. It depends on how you define a fish. You want to go in that context. No one is saying that. But again, if you're using design in the metaphoric way, then we're just talking about the resemblance of order that we see in nature to the order that we produce by ourselves. But design in of itself is a human thing in the practical sense. That's why human beings design with a blueprint. And the way human beings will know that something was designed and prove that it was designed is to provide a blueprint. And the blueprint makes it to where it's replicable, right? So we see in nature that there's not necessarily a level of intentionality when it comes to human beings. In fact, there's too much that's wrong with human beings to suggest a designer, talk less of a smart, intentional, all-powerful designer. There's too many mistakes in the human genome. You see, there's too many anomalies that will make you think that, bro, if whoever designed human beings must have been a dumbass, or someone who did not have all the knowledge he needed to make what he wanted to make, and he started making some shit and that shit malfunctioned, right? Because if human beings were designed, there's many questions. Why the fuck did they dump us here? Okay, there's many possibilities that are open. What if we're being quarantined because we're a defective product? What if we're just waited to be exterminated? Okay, what if we're designed to be food for whoever designed us? Because whoever designed us could be cultivating food in the same way that we cultivate food, and the way we store animals and use them for our own agricultural uses, right? So if you talk design, you're still not proving that God exists. You're actually opening a Pandora's box that you don't want to open. Because now you're opening the room for multiple possibilities, some far more realistically possible than the existence of an almighty supreme God that created the world. Yeah, it's possible that aliens could have made human beings in the sense that we understand a cell to be what it is right now. But then that would mean that those aliens themselves, they will have to be a different type of life form than organic mammals like us, or plants, or even jellyfish. That would mean that there is a different type of life form. That's even what we should be worried about, because we know that plants, we can call them living. Human beings, we can call them living. Could there be different forms of life? You should be obsessed with that question before you start imagining some almighty supreme God in your head.
Okay, so when we look at, let's back up for a minute. Okay, the microphone that you're speaking into, right?
What about
Can you see the creator?
The microphone? I don't need to see the creator of the microphone.
Yes. Can you see him? Her? The person that made that microphone?
No, I don't need to though.
But does it remove the existence of that person?
No.
Or even the entity?
There was never a doubt. Because microphones don't happen naturally, and microphones are only useful to human beings. So I think anyone with 2 brain cells will know exactly. And human beings use microphones, and microphones can be observed being made. So yeah, that's not even comparable at all. I don't need to have ever met the person. In fact, I know how microphones are made so much that I know that the person who made the cord did not make the foam, did not make the magnet. It's just, come on now, bro.
Okay, so you brought up the concept or your opinion that whoever created humans.
No, it's not a matter of
was a
opinion.
dumbass,
No,
right?
listen. I'm saying to you that what we observe in the human beings, the mistakes and the mutations, and just how human beings are, the fact our mortality, disease, sickness, the problems we endure as we strive to survive. If this was intentionally designed, bro, that opens the door for many realistic possibilities, including the fact that human beings could literally be food for whoever designed human beings. You don't think that that's possible? You don't think that it's possible that the same way we keep sheep on the barn?
I think that man.
No, hold on.
I think that man was created.
No, hold up.
I think man was created without all of that.
Brother,
and
hold
then
up.
Man created
Brother, hold
the
up.
bad things that happened to him.
Brother, calm down. Do you think it's possible?
No, fine.
Hold up. If human beings were designed, right?
Okay.
Or do you think it's possible that whatever life form would have designed human beings and is keeping human beings could be keeping human beings as food in the same way that we keep animals as food? Do you think that human beings, don't you think it's possible that there could be something else at the top of the food chain that's not human?
No, humans were created in a perfect image.
Brother, that's not. I'm asking you a question. Answer my question. Do you think it's possible that human beings
I
could?
didn't hear it.
Do you think it's possible that human beings could be in this world as a result of maybe a different life form putting humans here, and they are cultivating human beings as food in the same way we do with animals? Is it possible that the earth is just a huge barn for a species that eat human beings for dinner, lunch, and breakfast? And then there's so many of us, when they come and pick one of us, we don't even know. Maybe they just have so much, their technology is so advanced, right? Just like you can go into an anthill and pick up a single ant with a tweezer, and all the other ants will not notice. What if they're picking us up and eating us? And then what if they designed us as a source of food?
Do I think that's a possibility?
Yeah.
Do I think that's a possibility?
Do you
think that's a possibility?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
I think that if that's what you believe, then that's a possibility to you.
No, I'm asking you.
It's a possibility to me.
I'm asking you to use your common sense. Okay. Listen. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to give you credit. Okay. And I want you to be able to use critical thinking. It's common sense, bro. Think about it, right? We're going just based on the data. We're analyzing the data. Let's say that you are correct when you say that human beings were designed. That's all that means. It simply means you're correct that human beings were designed. Now, who designed human beings will be a different question. Any assumption you make, if you cannot conclude from the design who the designer is, then guess what? You're just wasting time. So what I'm saying to you is that if you conclude that human beings were designed, now in terms of finding the designer, you don't think that it's a real possibility that the designer could be someone that views human beings as food? Especially considering that we already live in a world where we can see a food chain. We can see a food chain. Why is it that you jump all those realistic possibilities to go and imagine an almighty supreme being? It's possible that human beings could have been designed by, guess what? A different life form or a different form of humanoids that did experiments in a laboratory, and maybe they are the ones that evolved naturally, or maybe they were developed by another life form that is like half human, half plants, right? Who knows how far it goes back? You can't just pick your favorite fairy tale and run with it, because if we all just have to make up something, bro, we will have no shortage of possibilities. So we have no choice but to fall.
Aspect, you're saying how far it goes back. The Bible never defines our time and God's time. So there is a possibility for anything there, right? And my thing is, I'm not trying to tell you to believe in the Hebrew God. What my objective here today is to try to get people to realize that there is a design in our environment. There is a design in our atmosphere.
Again, brother, you don't. Hold up. I get it. We've already spoken about that point, and it seems to me like you don't even understand it. Though I try to educate you on what a design is. A design, most practically.
I understand a lot of.
No. Hold up.
Whether I accept them or not, that's a different thing.
Hold up. Okay, let me ask you. If I said to you that they are getting ready to go to the movie theater, who are you going to assume that I'm talking about? What species? If I said, listen carefully, if I said this statement to you, They are about to go to the movie theater. Who do you imply I'm talking about in terms of species?
Do what? Repeat the question.
If I said to you, they are about to go to the movie theater, who is they? Oh, who could they be? Could it be dogs? Could it be cows? Could it be goats? Could it be aliens? Or is they in that context, without me even telling you, implying that it could only be humans, because only humans fucking go to the movie theaters, bro? Design is literally a word that describes how humans make things. It doesn't apply to anything outside of human beings. Even bees, when bees make honeycombs, it's not by design. They don't know what the
You're
fuck.
breaking up on my end, brother.
Sorry, Kevin. Next guess. And even if everyone conceded that is by design, it doesn't necessarily translate to God. There's no way you guys could be that dumb. If I said to you that a house was designed, do you automatically assume that it was a Chinese man that designed it? If I said to you a house was designed, do you automatically assume that it was a pygmy from the jungles of Africa that designed it? Knowing that something was designed doesn't necessarily mean you can just jump to the conclusion who the designer is. Or how many designers there are. How many designs are there in nature? Is there just one design? Is there just one design in nature? Those of you who believe that there's design in nature in that context, how many designs are there in nature? Now, if there is more than one design, how many designers could there be? Use your fucking brains. Use your goddamn brain. Let those chemicals in your brain start reacting. Pull yourself out of your fiction. What's going on, Joseph?
What's up, bro? Nothing much, man. I'm chilling.
Why do you believe in God?
Because I feel like there's a lot of there's not enough evidence to say that there is no God.
Why are you looking for evidence that there is no God when you haven't even found any evidence that there is? Bro, why are you what no hold up. Why are you torturing?
There is
No, hold up. Listen carefully to my question. You're torturing yourself.
Yes,
you are literally torturing yourself. Why are you worried about finding evidence that there is no God when you have never found any evidence that there was? You don't go looking for evidence that something is not. Why do you go looking for evidence that there is no God when you have never found evidence that there is in fact a God? It's like me coming. It's like me coming to you and saying that, look, there is Bongo, and then you tell me, okay, fine, I'm gonna go look for evidence that Bongo doesn't exist. If I come and say to you that there is Bongo, it's not your job to provide evidence that Bongo doesn't exist. No, it's my job to provide evidence that Bongo exists because I'm the one that first brought up the subject.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I get what you're saying.
No. Check this out. Until I can provide evidence that suggests that Bongo is real, the case is closed right there.
What the fuck Umbo is, bro?
Bongo is an imaginary deity that I invented in my head so I control religious people.
Okay, you see how you just said you created it?
I invented in my head.
There you go. You invented it. So that can be 100% real to you.
No.
To me, that's imaginary, right?
No, it's not 100% real. That's called make believe, my friend. Make believe.
Well, you just admitted that it's invented by you.
Make believe. I believe in my head. Make believe.
Exactly. So you made that. You're making it believe. Like you just made it up.
Do you know what make believe is?
Yeah, it's something that you make up.
Which is not real.
Right.
Something that you make up.
Or jumbo or something.
Brother. Something you make up in your head. In fact, you know what? Relax. I got you. That way you don't quote me, my brother. Hey, Meta. What does make believe mean? Hold up. Sorry, Meta. Hold up. Let me put up the volume. Hi, Meta.
No worries.
Go ahead. Tell me, what does make believe mean?
Make believe imagining or pretending that something is true or real when it's actually not. It involves creating a fictional scenario or idea in your mind and treating it as if it's real, often for creative, playful, or imaginative purposes.
Imagining that a God exists in my head, giving that God a name and a form, and even making rituals associated with that God, can that be considered make believe?
But that doesn't prove.
If you're imagining
in
your head,
I don't understand.
giving it a name and form, and creating rituals associated with it, that can indeed be considered a form of make-believe. You're essentially creating a fictional construct and treating it as if it's real within the context of your imagination.
Damn.
Could that behavior be harmful when it comes to solving problems in the real world?
Happy to make believe or fictional constructs are confused with reality, it can potentially hinder problem solving in the real world. When imagination isn't distinguished from reality, it can lead to misguided decisions or actions. However, imagination and make believe can also be useful tools for creative problem solving, depending on how they're applied.
Okay.
Damn,
Then,
she's really getting you, bro.
then give us an example of a situation where make believe associated with God can be used for a good purpose, and then also emphasize if that necessitates that it is real.
An example with a God purpose could be in the context of art, literature, or community building. For instance, a group of people might create a fictional deity as a symbol of unity or creativity, using it as a theme for artistic expression or community events. In this case, the make-believe aspect can foster creativity, cooperation, and a sense of belonging among the participants. The necessity for it to be real would depend on the context and purpose. If the goal is artistic or communal, the make-believe aspect can be beneficial without needing to be real. However, if the make-believe is used to manipulate or deceive others for personal gain or to cause harm, then the distinction between reality and fiction becomes crucial.
So you're saying that if someone invents a God in their head and then presents it to me as if that God is real and expect me to treat that idea as if that God is real, you're saying that there is manipulation and control going on with such a behavior, especially when you consider that it's all make-believe?
If someone presents it as factual and expects others to accept it as true, that can indeed be a form of manipulation. By blurring the lines between make-believe and reality, they may be attempting to influence or control others' beliefs and actions. This behavior can be problematic, especially if it's done without transparency or respect for others' autonomy.
Do you think to a certain degree we observe that in our current religious structure in the world?
Many revolve presenting certain beliefs or narratives as factual, and some individuals or groups may use these beliefs to influence or shape the actions and worldviews of others. This can be seen in various forms, such as through doctrine, teachings, or community expectations. The dynamics between belief, power, and influence can be complex and multifaceted.
When someone has cancer,
I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about, bro. To be honest with you, but
when someone has
way,
serious and often life-altering diagnosis that can have significant physical, emotional, and psychological...
It's okay, Meta. You can let go.
Yep. Let it go.
Hold up. So you concede that your belief in God is make-believe?
When you say
yes or no,
Bakanga, I think you have
brother,
issues, bro.
brother, do you concede that your belief in God is make-believe? Is yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Checkmate. Look,
shut the fuck up and listen, you'll understand.
Look, God is make-believe. That's it. Yes. We're on the same page. Right. All right, then thank you for your time, Joseph.
If you just shut up and listen, you'll understand what the fuck I'm saying.
Joseph, I have no further need to understand anything you say if you agree with me that God is make-believe. I'm not interested. Thank you, though. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
You don't make a valid point.
Bro, The whole point is it's make believe. So you're free to make the one you want to make in your head. Let the Ombombo in the jungle make his own Ombombo deity in his own head. It's make believe. It is good that all the kids have now found out that they don't really have to believe in Santa Claus. And your friends are not going to bully you because you don't believe in Santa Claus no more. Gone are those uncivilized days when if you do not believe in the divine Santa Claus, you will be hung, persecuted, killed, and called a heretic. But in 2025, so gloriously, I can stand here and say emphatically, there is no God. There never has been, and there never will be. No matter how many grandmothers, grandfathers believe in it, we know that now. And among us, in fact, there are many of us who know that there is no God. Some of us know that there is no God, but we can't live our religions because we're stuck. If we leave, we're afraid of how those around us will react. But if you could see the depths of the minds of most of so-called believers, it wouldn't be long before you realize they don't really believe. That's why when you ask them, why do you believe in God? It's like you stunt their brains. No one has come up here and given us a good reason why they believe in God. None. Not a reason that would make you drop your jaw and be like, wow, that's really worth it, man. That belief is worth you making some shit up in your head and pretending it's real. What's going on?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Why do you believe in God? Give me your best reason. Let it be a reason that makes sense. If it makes sense to me, then perhaps we can continue the conversation. If it doesn't make sense to me, then I'll tell you what I think of it, and then I guess we can just leave it there.
All right. I believe in God because I believe there's no other answer how we came to exist. Every person that I've asked who doesn't believe in God.
Hold up. My bad, bro. I don't know if I heard you right. You said you believe in God because of a belief?
I believe in God for many reasons, but the main reason is that there's no other explanation why we're here. Because I ask people who don't believe in God, I say, how do you think
what does explaining how we're here have to do with making up something in your head and pretending it's real?
It's not, because there's answers in the Bible and there's no answers in science. I ask people where
yes, but what do you use to grade if the answers in the Bible are correct?
Because good and evil, you know. Good
yeah, but that's not what the answers in the Bible doesn't come down to good and evil. And good and evil in our world is not the way the Bible describes it. Okay? We don't use the Bible's morality to govern ourselves. We have our modern morality. If you brought in all those Bible characters today, we'll probably incarcerate them. Shit, if we could get our hands on the God of the Bible, we incarcerate him for not asking for Mary's consent before impregnating her. So that's not a good enough reason for you to believe in God. It just seems to me like you're insecure about not knowing certain questions. To believe in God, it just seems to me like you're insecure about not knowing certain questions. To believe in God, it just seems to me like I do not know what you did, but you are echoing. You did, but you are echoing.
Yeah, I think I messed.
You should turn off whatever recording you're putting on your phone. You should turn off whatever recording you're putting on your phone.
Hold on, I'm gonna rejoin.
Oh boy.
Praise God, Bakanga.
You should try to praise that your sound, man. Your sound sounds like it needs some praise.
Yo, now what's up, man? I just came up to say what's up. You know I don't fuck with that Christian shit.
Word, bro. You know how it is.
but bust how my man tried to get you to understand his belief with a belief.
That's what I'm saying. The whole point of this conversation is if the reason doesn't make sense to me, I'm not wasting my time going back and forth I'm not your therapist. If you're confused, that's you. If you don't know why you believe in God, and if it's not a good reason, you know what? We have places for disabled people. Not here.
The Bible is not proof of anything. The Bible is just the Bible. That's like Iron Man. The Iron Man comic book is not proof of Iron Man. It just tells the story.
That's why I asked him, Dinos, I asked you earlier, what metric do you use to grade if the answers in the Bible are true? And you said good and evil. That's the dumbest answer. It doesn't answer the question.
Okay. But listen.
How does good and evil prove that? Hold up. How does good and evil prove that Moses split the Red Sea with a stick? How do you know? How do you grade that the historical narrative in the Bible is true? It's not even consistent with contemporary narrative.
There's no other answer. You can't give me an answer where we came from.
Yes, there's answers. Have you ever studied myth?
So where'd we come from?
Brother, if all you want is answers, you will find millions of them. If you want a correct answer, you won't find anyone anywhere except we don't yet know because we haven't scientifically discovered yet. So if your entire belief in God is founded because you cannot wait for us to find an answer to a question that we're currently investigating.
What am I gonna wait until after I'm dead? Like, bro, what? That makes no sense. If I'm gonna die a believer. So even if I am
listen.
Stop, bro,
hold up. You're not getting it.
You're not, bro. Is a sign of unintelligence, bro.
You're not getting it. Hold up, man.
You hold up, bro. Let me finish,
brother.
Let me finish my point,
brother.
What's your problem?
It's my program. If you don't like it, man, you can leave. No, I said no.
Ignorant bitch.
Yes, sure. I understand why you have to sound. Do you know why you have to be like that?
You're the one interrupting people. You're the way you are because the way you are.
Hold up. Listen.
You don't know how to have a conversation. Bro.
Listen. And I was able to destabilize you emotionally for the point where you lost your mind. That shows you how easy you are to manipulate.
I never lost my mind. You just don't let people speak.
Again.
That's the issue.
Again. Whose program is it? Is it yours or mine?
Yeah.
Do I owe you? Do I owe you anything though? Do I owe you?
Answers. You don't want answers.
Brother, do I owe you anything? Do I owe you anything?
Nah, bro, you don't want answers. Why are you asking people to come up just to interrupt?
I said to you that if your reason why you believe in God, if your reason why you believe in God is not good enough, then I'm just gonna tell you what I think and leave it there. You've already told me. You already told me. I asked you the question emphatically in the beginning and you answered. Okay.
Let me finish, bro. Don't be dumb.
Okay. No. Hold on. Okay. So hold up. Let's do this. I'm gonna give you 20 seconds. Tell me why you believe in God.
20 seconds is not enough, bro. You gotta give me a whole minute. Give me 60 seconds.
No, 20 seconds. If you can't, you can drop. Tell me why you believe in God. Just tell me straight. Just quote it. It shouldn't take you more than 20 seconds. Just tell me the reason why you believe in God.
Okay, so what do I lose if I die believing in God? If I die and believe in God and God doesn't exist, what punishment do I get? I lose nothing if I believe in it. May as well take that chance.
You don't.
Theology proved. And you didn't even give me 20 seconds. You just kept talking again, bro.
You keep running your mouth. You keep running your mouth. Listen. You just repeated what you said earlier that I was going to interject because I was going to say to you, there's no need for you to say that because our conversation doesn't go into what you have to lose. The fucking point is, why do you fucking believe?
Because religion brings peace to other people. It brings.
Sure, I don't have a problem with you. I don't have a problem with religion bringing you peace. I don't have a problem with that. Bro,
you a host?
It doesn't matter to me what brings you peace. If religion brings you peace, it still doesn't change my fact that God doesn't exist and you made something up in your head.
It's not a fact that God doesn't exist.
Listen, you made up an imaginary character in your head to deal with your depression. I understand it, bro.
I don't have depression. I don't know what you.
So why do you need an imaginary character to have peace?
I don't need imaginary character to have peace. What I meant by peace is other people, forgiving others, loving other people.
I got a question. You can do that shit without believing in God.
Bro, you keep running your mouth, bro.
You can do that shit without believing in God. You can do that without believing in God.
You got a good microphone for what?
Everything you just said can be done without believing in God. What's up, Sphinx?
I got a question for him, Bakongo.
All right, go ahead.
If Adam and Eve was alive in 2025 right now, how old would they be according to your Bible?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I can check if you want me to.
I'll just give it to you. It's 6,000 years.
All right.
Do you believe that this earth and the creation of this earth is 6,000 years?
No.
I don't either. So you don't believe in your Bible, I don't either. I mean, that was
Where'd
easy.
you get the answer from? Where'd you get the 6,000 answer from?
If you any Bible scholar,
No, hold up. Let me answer that question. If you read the Bible, if you read the Bible, you're gonna see the Bible gives us the genealogy from Jesus all the way to Adam, and it gives us the genealogy generationally, and then it gives you the exact generations from Noah to Adam, from Noah to Abraham, from Abraham to David to the destruction of the first temple, and then from the destruction of the first temple to the construction of the second temple, from the second temple all the way to Jesus's birth. It gives you that genealogy. So it roughly comes to around 6,000 years old, which is in complete contradiction to every scientific discovery we've ever discovered in this world. So yes, like I said, you live in a world of make-believe, which we don't have a problem with it. We just wanted to let you know that it was make-believe. If you know that it's make-believe, bro, we're cool with you, man. You can make up whatever Santa Claus you want to make up in your head. We don't got a problem with it.
But Conga, he's actually on outside. He don't believe in it, and
that's the
I don't
point.
believe in it.
Exactly.
You don't believe in it.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. You ain't no real believer.
Yes, I am.
No, you're just copying. You're just copying.
You just said you don't believe in that.
I said I don't believe in what?
You just said you don't believe in the creation story.
Yes, I do. When did I say I don't believe in it?
Hold on. So you're saying that you think that the earth is only 6,000 years old.
No, it's not only 6,000 years old.
Then you don't believe in
There were things before Adam and Eve.
Why are you like this?
There were things before Adam and Eve.
There were only 7 days. According to your Bible, it was only 7 days. And on the 6th day, God made Adam. And then Adam, we start dating Adam's age after he left the garden, I think so. Right? Now, in fact, if that question is so hard for you, let me ask you a question, okay, bro? What did the lions used to eat when they're in the Garden of Eden? Grass?
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's evidence that your religion is make-believe. That's why you don't know. You don't care.
No, I don't know the Bible word for word.
Well, you don't know what you believe in. You don't know what you believe in.
That's facts.
Bro, I do know what I believe.
That's facts.
Look, you just took somebody's word for it and you ran with it. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't think that this earth is 6,000 years old, I don't either. Me and you was on the same page. That means you don't believe in the creation story, so you don't believe in the Bible. That's so easy.
Facts.
Bro, what? I don't have knowledge of everything in the Bible. Just because I don't know something,
why would you be a Christian and not know what you signed up for?
Bro, I don't know everything.
No, bro. Bro,
you don't know everything either.
I'm not sitting up here lying to you. I'm telling you about your Bible, the creation story, and the timeline. If you go do the research, you're gonna see exactly what I say is true. Now, if you want to believe in that, that's you. But you shouldn't believe in things unless you do research.
Bro, I can't even hear it. This guy's playing his shit music. Holy fuck. Turn that shit down. You African fuck. Turn that shit down.
Hey.
Go do your voodoo. Do your voodoo, bitch.
Hey. Yeah. 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 Hey. Say what? You better not pull up in the jungle, bro.
Hey. You can play my song.
Say what? If you say that one more time, I will feed you to my children. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, he disappeared. Good.
Yeah, because the thing about it is like he agrees with us, but he just want to hold on to the delusion. I don't get it. Like you don't even believe in your own Bible. You don't believe in the creation story, and I don't believe in it either, but you want to argue me about God, and you're trying to play Russian roulette with a deity to see that even if it ain't real, at least I'm not gonna go to hell. Like that. What type of life is that?
Yeah. Who?
Akanga.
What's going on, man?
Come for that little warm snakehead apple eating crazy looking person come out here talking wild. Are you mad?
Abi.
Where you at talking about gold? Are you mad? Where are you? Come out. You can't even prove your own self or what you read. For years, you just become what you are, an idiot. He just asked you a question. What did lions eat inside of the Noah? You is what they ate. Your mind. Let me not hear you talk like that ever again. Talking about you mad, man.
Bro,
Akanga,
don't
keep
allow,
smoking that, man.
brother, don't allow our religious brothers and sisters to trigger you. You know, there's a level of childishness that we expect from them. So I get it though. Your anger is a righteous anger. A cry of disappointment in a wasted brain for a young man like that to be at that level. You would think that he would have been grown. I feel your pain, bro. But unfortunately, we cannot change their minds. We can only trigger them. Hopefully the trigger will start a domino effect that can lead them down the path of deconstruction.
With that said, in today's world, we are watching how you is unaliving people in our today's world, and you have the audacity to talk about anything Africa as far as what it's doing. Our gods don't go out there doing what you're doing. You are unaliving people right now as we speak by the name of your theory. Today you come out here talking. You're sick. DSM-5 needs to come out and put this inside of the books. You'll put everything else in the books, but you won't put this kind of mental sickness in the books. Bakanga, keep smoking them. We see them all dried up.
Smoking
Thank
them.
you.
African style. You know how we do it, right? You take the meat, you chop the meat up, you dip it in salt, you put it in the sun, you let it dry.
Hey, I helped out with that one too. So you know.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You know, somebody had to put flames on the fire and blow it. You know, back home, that's somebody's job. You know, when you're cooking outdoors with firewood, somebody's job is to sit there with a paper and blow the fire.
Right.
And you was blowing the flames. What's up, Nana?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Do you believe in God?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then answer the golden question. Why?
Is it possible I ask a question first before I answer?
Do you really need to ask that question first?
Yes, I do.
Are you sure there's no way you can first answer my own question before burdening me with answering your own question?
I bet you money I know what he's gonna ask you.
Well, shit. Now that you said that, I want to know. Now that you said that, I want to know.
No. Before he say, I know exactly what he's gonna ask you.
Okay, let's see.
He's gonna be like,
Sphinx, say it. Let's see if it's correct. And Nana, don't lie. If he guesses you right, go ahead.
He's gonna be like, Bakanga, what do you believe in? How do you think that we got here? That's what he's gonna say. I bet you. Am I wrong?
No, I don't know.
Wrong.
Hey, Nana, is he wrong?
Yeah, he's wrong.
God damn. He said you're wrong. You were wrong. Yeah. Who? All right, Nana, what's up? Tell us, why do you believe in God?
I said I want to ask.
Okay, sure. Ask me a question. Sure. What?
Is there a proof with science the purpose of human?
No. Human beings don't really have any purpose like that is for everybody. Every human being has a different purpose.
So we are just here to live and just die.
Man,
We're
that's
just here.
what I said.
Yeah.
Yo, Bakanga, isn't that what I just said he was gonna ask you? He just said it in a different way. It's the
That's
same
what I
thing.
said.
He's
I
basically
said
asking
you
you.
were
He's
close.
basically
I said
asking you
you
what
were
you
close,
believe
but
in.
that's not
I
the
knew you
same.
was gonna ask that. I knew you was gonna ask that. You just said it in a different way.
I said you were close, but not the same.
No.
You see, at least you guys didn't bet on it. Well, anyways, Nana, now tell me, why do you believe in God?
I believe in God because we have to have a purpose. We cannot just be here. And
hold up.
Okay.
What does purpose mean?
Purpose means is that you purpose is you have to have a means why you are doing something. You cannot just be doing something without any means or any aiming for any results.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So you're saying that you need to believe in God because you need purpose, right?
Basically, yeah.
So purpose defines why something is, right? So you associate the word purpose with the word why, right?
Yeah, to my understanding.
Okay, so hold up. How does your average day go? You go to work. I imagine you work, right?
I work, yeah.
You eat, you shit, maybe you fuck or you masturbate. One of those things, you do them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Now,
if them
hold
have
up.
a
Let's run through your average day. Why do you go to sleep at night?
Why do I go to sleep at night?
Yeah.
Because I need rest.
So you're saying that when you're sleeping at night, your purpose is to rest in that moment.
Yes, that's how my body is designed.
Bro, forget about design. The point is when you go to sleep at night, your purpose is
No,
to rest.
like, that's what I said.
Brother, even a
For
person who doesn't even
even
a person who has never believed in design, when they go to sleep at night, their purpose is obviously to rest, right? So the purpose is not complicated. You don't need to go into fiction. You know it. So now tell me, when you wake up in the morning, what do you usually do?
I brush my teeth.
Why do you brush your teeth? Why do you brush your teeth?
Because I have a purpose for my teeth to look good and to be healthy.
And who told you that your teeth need to look good? Was it God?
Nobody did.
Okay, so who told you that your purpose in the morning should be to clean your teeth? Bro, who told you? Brother, who told you? Okay, good. Now, okay, after you brush your teeth, what do you do next?
Everybody has his own way of doing
Yeah,
it.
so give me a rundown of how your day goes. So okay, after you've brushed your teeth, I imagine you eat breakfast, because the purpose of eating breakfast is because you're hungry and you want energy for the day. And then possibly after
breakfast.
Okay, you don't eat breakfast.
I skip breakfast. No.
Why do you
breakfast.
why do you skip breakfast?
Because my purpose, my reason for skipping breakfast is that I have a health issues that I don't want to eat breakfast in the morning.
So your purpose of not eating breakfast is because of health issues, not God. Hold on, bro.
Yes.
Your purpose for eating breakfast is health issue, not God. Okay, after you eat breakfast, what do? You go to work, or do you usually start your day? Why do you go to work?
I go to school and I go to work. So I go to school first and I go to work.
Why do you go to school?
Because I want to be a kid. That's my reason. That's my purpose.
Brother, life is made up of moment to moment to moment, and you find yourself doing things in each moment. The purpose of each moment is what you find yourself doing. That's why they always say to you, focus one step at a time. You don't have one big fat purpose that somebody made for you. No, you discover your purpose based on where you find yourself, when you find yourself, who is around you, what the environment is like, right? Sometimes you might find yourself in a situation where your purpose is to survive. For example, let's say you're trying to cross from Africa to Europe and you find yourself in the middle of the Mediterranean in a sinking boat. Your purpose in that moment is to survive, not to go to heaven, not to get a job, to survive. So purpose is subdivided. The more you can subdivide it in small increments and focus on it, the more productive your life can be. Most people have a difficult time structuring their life that way. It's not complicated. Your reason for believing in God is very shallow. No, hold up, listen, bro, I told you, your reason for believing in God is very shallow. Okay, bro, you need to go on.
I just want to put something there for you. The big picture for the purpose. This is a small portion of purpose. I'm talking about the big picture, the purpose.
There's no big picture. There's no big picture because you're only talking about you when you talk in terms of purpose and the life that you live, and your purpose cannot be mine. It's impossible. That's why you are you and I'm me. The only way you and I can have the same purpose is if we're exactly the same person or not.
No, you are just deviating from my question that I asked you. I asked you, do we have a scientific proof of purpose why we are here? Because we have a proof.
Purpose is not a scientific subject of investigation. Purpose is a philosophical subject that we understand it simplistically as the reasons why we do things, and we use ourselves as an example. So your problem is not just English comprehension, it's not just a lack of philosophical knowledge. Your problem is that you're confused altogether. That's why I said to you, your reason for believing in God is very weak. You need to go back and re-examine your religion, re-examine your own life, and really come to a conclusion, the real reason why you believe. Because what I'm detecting here is that you're not really a believer.
No,
I don't
have to have a big complicated reason to believe in God.
Okay, then guess what? Then you're just proving that God doesn't exist.
Why?
Because you don't need a reason to believe. And the reasons you give yourself to believe anyone with 2 brain cells can tell that it's not good enough. Thank you so much for your time, bro. I appreciate you. Okay. What's up, Michaela?
Boy.
Hello, Michaela.
I should have I should have bet that guy money.
Bro, you broke us on? You out here hustling?
Because I said I knew exactly what he was gonna ask. You know what I'm saying? And he did it.
Most religious people don't know why they believe in God. They have reasons in their head why they think they believe in God, but they've never really thought about it. So if you put them on the spot, they just take you in circles. We don't have that time. If you're sure, who's talking?
Me.
Which one of you?
Spike.
Hold on 1 second, Spike. Michaela, are you there?
I'm here. Yes.
Okay, sure. Michaela is here. Michaela, go ahead. Talk first, and then Spike can go next. Why do you believe in God, Michaela? Do you believe in God?
No, I don't. I'm an atheist.
Oh, okay. Then we're on the same team. Then
Yes,
go ahead.
We're on the same team. I just wanted to ask the man because he had said that he had health issues. So I wanted to know why his daddy God didn't cure his health issues.
God damn, maybe I should have brought you up back then.
That was a good question. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah. He got health issues, and because of those health issues, he believes in God, but God will not heal his health issues. Damn.
I'm like, I thought Jesus used to lay hands on people and cure all the people of sickness and illness. I don't know why God didn't do that for you.
I don't know how. Oh, who knows exactly how he was laying hands on people? No, hey, Michaela, don't you find it suspect that all the things that Jesus said, Jesus might end up being the exact thing that Christians hate the most?
Can I say what it is?
Because I want to answer to that.
You should go to church and ask TD Jakes. Make sure he shakes when he tells you.
Oh my God. I'm like, not it's swallowed up, TD Jakes.
Hey, since Diddy got over all those charges, I bet TD Jakes is happy because he was about to go down. Anyways, Michaela, we're on the same team. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, okay? Let me talk to Spike.
All right. If I say Red Bull right now, right?
Excuse me?
If I say Red Bull right now.
Huh?
If I say Red Bull right now, right?
If you say Red Bull?
Yeah, what does it mean?
Huh?
What does that mean?
Yeah, like whatever came into your head, whatever moment came into your head, whatever. If you saw something, right? Whatever. When I say Red Bull.
Oh, wait. Yeah, when you say Red Bull, I think of a Red Bull. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever allowed you to think that that's your connection to the source or God.
No, sir.
Yeah, because it's allowing you to speak. It's allowing you to be alive right now.
No, sir. You are just uneducated if you somehow manage to come to that conclusion. You might want to recalculate the problem, sir. You did the equation wrong.
No, I didn't.
Okay, then you're just ignorant about basic biology and human physiology.
Biology says that it took a positive and a negative freaking particle to smash, and 2 positives came out of it. So good wins, positive wins.
That's not biology.
And your word is energy that's being transmitted through your brain.
That's physics. That's physics.
Into electrical signal.
That's physics, not biology.
It goes into your quantum computer in your brain.
Quantum computer?
Yeah, your brain is quantum computing and allowing you to reciprocate whatever energy that it manifests coming out of my wavelength, out of my mouth.
Okay, sure. What does that prove?
That positive always wins. That good always wins.
Okay, then what?
That you're connected to a source that's allowing you to manipulate 3-dimensional space.
How do you get to the point that you're connected to a source?
Because it has to be something from the 4th dimension that's allowing you to manifest.
And who told you that it has to? And who told you it has to?
Math. The only language that doesn't lie.
Math? Okay, then give me the math equation that help you draw that conclusion.
You
must have done some mathematical computation to come to that conclusion, my brother. So go
I'm
ahead.
only positive resonance. You know,
Tell me.
I'm resonating positive words. You know how you interpret
No, no,
it.
no, brother. What mathematical equation did you make to come to that conclusion?
Hey, Spike.
-1 plus -1 should equal 0, right? But
Hey,
somehow
Spike.
it
I
equals
got a question for you,
positive,
Spike.
right? 2
Spike.
and create this existence.
Spike. I got a question for you.
EMC
Right.
squared, Pharaoh. Pharaoh, I would like to hear you explain that. How that
You
answers
believe-
the question.
That's not the
believe
full
in-
equation.
You believe in Jesus, Spike?
I believe in God.
You believe in Jesus, Spike?
No.
Which
don't
God?
believe in Jesus?
Which God do you believe in?
The source, the Alpha and Omega, whatever is allowing us to be alive.
Is your God in the Bible, Spike?
It's in every Bible, bro.
So your God is in the Bible. Are you do you believe that your God is all good, Spike?
Nah, I believe that if you're good, it outweighs bad.
Is that a no? Is that a no? You don't believe your God is all good, Spike?
Would you rather be good or bad?
Bro, I asked you a yes or no question. You're glossing. Is your God that you believe in all good?
You want me to ask somebody that just balances the equation?
I would like you to answer a question. If we're gonna be talking, I would answer your questions if you ask. Is your God all good, Spike?
Yeah, he is.
All right. Is your God all evil, Spike?
No.
Who created evil, Spike?
Humans.
Humans are powerful enough to create a parallel thing to good that's evil. Is humans stronger than your God, Spike?
No, but we have the will to make a choice.
You think what choice?
Whether you want to be good or bad.
So who created evil? Humans. You said humans create evil. So God didn't create evil. Humans create evil. So we're just as powerful as God.
No.
Yeah, because we not only do we
created a parallel.
not only do we create evil, but God had to kill himself to solve the problem of evil.
God would either be in a higher dimension. He's not in a third dimension. So we're just variables in an equation, and we have a quantum freaking way of thinking things that we can manipulate this matter, you know?
So particularly, so you think Adam and Eve created evil? That's what you're saying?
No, the serpent was probably a deity that wanted to take advantage of Eve and, like, you know, manipulate it.
So if if the serpent took advantage of Eve, then and the serpent is evil,
and then accused her of eating it.
Hold up. But why would you blame evil on humans when you're talking about the serpent?
In fact, I know how to fix this problem. Spike.
I thought you didn't even believe in God, so why would you
Spike,
believe in that?
Spike.
You didn't ask me a question. You could ask a question if you don't know.
Either way, I broke it down to basics. I didn't say I believe in any book. I said
No, you didn't break
God
it
is a
down.
source and allows us to manipulate.
You actually sound like you're on some type of substance. I'm just trying to get clarity out of you.
Hold up, Spike. Check this out, Spike. Did your God create everything?
You're alive, right?
Did your God create everything?
It's all of our God, bro. I literally said whatever.
Nah, it's your God, and I'm just being respectful. It's your God. I don't want to claim ownership of your God. Did your God create everything?
Okay, let's touch your God. Who's your God?
I don't have one because I don't have an imaginary friend in my head that I think created the world. Now, did your God create everything?
So, give me a reason why your consciousness is allowing you to do things in this reality.
As soon as you tell me if your God created everything.
I said a particle, negative and bad, positive, negative particles.
No. Typically,
this reality.
Typically, you answer that kind of question with a yes or a no. So, yes, just give me one word: yes or no. Did your God create everything? Yes or no?
Yes.
So then, how can you say that humans created evil? Wouldn't that mean that? Wouldn't that mean no? Humans could not have created evil if your God created everything, because evil is something. It's part of everything. Don't you see the contradiction? Don't you see how your brain is going in circles?
So you want to like tell me that evil is evil, and I'm telling you
No,
that
I'm saying to you
good
that if your God created everything, your God created evil too. And
okay, but I'm
because
telling you
and because you've never made that God, you cannot make the conclusion that
because
God.
you have a choice to be good or bad
No,
or evil.
again, because you've never met that God, there's nothing stopping that God from being God, even if that God is evil. You're the one who doesn't want that God to be evil. There's no real reason why that God will have created everything except evil. That doesn't make him any less God. If you already believe, so we already know there's something sketchy about your mentality because you give God credit for only the things you like. The things you don't like, you don't want to give God credit for, even though God himself says in his own book, right? I don't know if you believe in the Christian God, but that specific version says he created evil, and all the other versions claim credit for it too. So my brother, you need to go educate yourself. Your reason for believing in
I need to
God,
educate myself. I believe in
brother,
good.
your
You say you
reason,
believe in like
your
diverting people because of their
your
beliefs.
brother, no. What I'm saying to you is that your reason for believing in God doesn't seem like you've given it enough thought. It seems like you're still figuring it out. So perhaps you should go and
I told you,
relearn certain
it
things.
was allowing me to be alive. Whatever was allowing me to talk to you.
That's just
Whatever's allowing
poetry.
me to do
That's
anything
just
right now.
poetry. My job is not to sit here and remind you of basic biology and anatomy and physiology. Okay, bro. Like I said, I don't want to
In
fight with
biology, it
you.
works too. Two particles smashed and the positive fucking one. Like, so how am I not explaining it to?
Next guest.
Wepa.
I know, right? What's going on, North Star?
What's going on, man? I appreciate you having me.
Oh
on,
man.
Yes, sir. Why you believe in God, cuz?
Shit, I'm living proof of God.
So go ahead. So the way I'm doing it, bro. So give me your best reason, bro. And if you need time to think about it, don't rush to give us an answer. But give us
I don't need time to think about it.
Okay,
I
sure.
just wanted to ask you because you asked me a question. I answered that question. If
no,
that's not
you haven't
enough for you.
Yeah, you haven't answered my question the way I wanted because I want the reason that you believe in God.
You want a way.
No. Check this out.
And I told you.
No. Check this out. Let me finish explaining. I'm not even done telling you the rules before you can answer my question. Okay. Relax. So
ask me a question.
Let your answer make so much sense that anyone that is reasonable, even if they disagree with you, can still be like, okay, his reason for believing in God makes sense. That would incentivize further conversation. If I don't think that your reason in God makes sense, the conversation will not go past you telling me your reason. So that's why I'm trying to give you an opportunity to articulate it as clearly as possible so people can understand you. So go ahead. Right. And I want the smoking gun, okay? I don't want something vague. What is the reason? Out of all the reasons why you believe in God, what was the smoking gun? What's the one thing that makes you believe in God in such a way that you're so sure that it is what you believe it to be? What is it?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that. But when you first asked me that question, did you hear that answer that I gave right away?
No,
because I'm gonna elaborate on that answer.
No,
I'm gonna elaborate on that answer.
No, sir.
I'll give you that answer and I'll elaborate on it too.
So
you didn't hear it, so I'll give it.
Sir, please do me a favor.
You didn't hear it, bro.
Do me a favor
on what I said. I'm gonna repeat what I said.
Please do me a favor to avoid further confrontation. I'm the host, you're the guest. If you just answer my question without being sassy, bro, I think we'll get along just fine. But I'm the host and I can drop you at any time. I don't want to have to do that. So please just answer my question as respectfully as you can and as briefly and as clearly as possible. You're talking to me along with 383 people.
Right.
So consider if you don't think that I can benefit from what you're saying, perhaps you think that somebody in that. Bro, don't interrupt me anymore, please. So even if you don't think that I can benefit from you, consider at least the audience, because ultimately we're entertaining them, right? So I think I really put it down pretty good. Go ahead, tell me. I'm listening. Just tell me.
So I had said I'm living proof of that, and by me being living proof of that, I am able to create the same way God is able to create, the same way how it said I'm made in his image and likeness, because I heard you refer to the Christian aspect of it. But in this God that I assume that you're talking about, and it's just an assumption, I would assume it's this monotheistic God, this one God that majority of the population on this planet believes in, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, even the aspects of God in different religions and Hinduism and Buddhism and whatnot. I'm not sure if that, like, I articulated it intellectually very deeply. So I'm not sure if that could, because you said before my answer wasn't sufficient enough for you.
One second. After you finish answering them, Bakanga, I got a question for him.
Damn. Okay, he saved you, bro. Because, bro, are you sure that's the
Yeah, the
reason why
question.
you believe in God? I heard you right. Everything you just said right now, that's the reason why you believe in God, right?
What did you hear me say?
I heard you say that you believe in God because you're a living example. And then you started speaking about metaphors and poems, something about you being able to create like God, and then just a bunch of mumbo jumbo that all I can do is replace God with Santa Claus, and all those things will still be relevant. So the reason why you believe in God is
Santa
really made out
Claus?
of bullshit. Yes, if I replace God into your answer, it would be the exact same shit if I replace God with
So
Santa
I'm
Claus.
made in Santa Claus' image and likeness.
Because it's a fictitious statement. You're made in whose fucking image other than your father who fucked your mother to have you, bro? That's like fiction. We don't live in a bubble.
My father
It's
is
poetry.
God. My father.
Exactly. Since that's your reason, bro.
So God is poetry.
Bro, because we all
How
know
would you
that
define
your father is the sperm donor that gave birth to you. You don't. We know human biology enough
Okay,
to know
and
that
what-
you don't
what
have
about
another
his
father
though?
anywhere.
What about his father though?
Also, flesh and blood.
What about his father?
Flesh and blood.
How far do we go back?
You can go back all the way to the cell.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, yes, and we haven't found any God there because we've gone back there. We haven't found any God there.
Biology.
Yes.
You talked about biology, so we can get into that.
No, we
Also,
don't need to get into that. We don't need
Yeah,
to.
the brother beneath me had a question for me.
Relax. Like I said, we don't need to get into that, bro. With all due respect, your reason for God, believing in God, doesn't incentivize me attempting to have a constructive conversation with you, because you're already proven to me that your reason for believing in God is make believe.
You can't argue,
brother. No, it's make believe. Why would I argue with a kid if Santa Claus is real? That's what you sound like to me, bro. With all due respect.
That's what I sound like to you.
Bro, you literally just said to me you believe in a fictitious character which has never been observed because of personal experiences, and then you describe yourself believing in it because you can do what you believe that fictitious character could do when no one ever observed that fictitious character doing it. Now, not only that, there is different gods in the world. Which God exactly are you like? Like Allah? Is it the Christian one? Is it the Muslim one? Is it Zeus? Bro, you're confused and you don't even know that you're confused.
I'm not confused.
Yes, you are. You don't have a good reason for believing in God. You've never thought about it.
Let me ask him a question. Y'all, you ready?
Yeah,
you believe in God or the Bible?
Like I had said, I'm assuming we're talking about the monotheistic God.
Bro, I don't know all of that.
So yes, that would be
God
that
or the
would be a
Bible?
yes. That would be yes. That would be yes.
So that means you believe in that Bible. Cool. If
I
Adam
believe in God.
Cool. If Adam and Eve was alive today in 2025, how old would they be?
About 2,500 years old.
Actually, the answer is about 6,000.
Hold up.
But
how did you get 25, bro?
Yeah, I don't even know how he got. I know he don't.
Hold on.
Just say you don't know. Just say you don't know.
Hold on. The same way that.
Okay.
The same way. Hold on. Okay, what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The same way that you say there would be about 6,000 years. And this is coming from people that assume to not believe, correct?
All right, so
you're not a believer.
All right, so this what it is, right?
Sphinx, I'm asking you a question, brother. Can we talk?
Could you hear me? Could you hear me? I'm gonna answer your question.
Do you believe in God or not?
The reason why I asked you this question is because the Bible has a timeline, right? So if you read believe, hold up, let me finish. If you read and believe in the Bible, then you believe in the timeline. The timeline for Adam and Eve in the creation story is 6,000 years old. That's what it is. You said 2,500. That's absolutely. It doesn't matter if I believe in it or not. I don't believe in Iron Man. I can give you a timeline of Iron Man.
Hold on. Let me because you're.
Hey, Sphinx. Sphinx, let him talk. And then he can make his exit. Go ahead, say whatever you want to say, bro. Then you kind of just put your conclusion into it.
You're jumping to a narrative on me when you say 6,000 years. That's coming from the narrative of the people who gave us the Bible, and the Bible predates that narrative of that. The oldest Bible is the Ethiopian Bible. Is that 6,000 years old?
Yes. Well, no, the Bible's not 6,000 years old. The creation,
so hold on. Hold on,
bro. I'm gonna I promise I'll let you finish. The Bible creation story puts the earth at 6,000 years old.
Sphinx, you should have just let him,
Absolutely
bro.
not.
You don't need to
Absolutely
respond
not.
to him.
Absolutely not.
Just let him finish what he's saying, Sphinx.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna just land this. I'm gonna just land this plane, bro. Whether you think that it's 2,500 years old or 6,000 years old, human beings are over 300,000 years old, and that's what makes your Bible.
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm talking about a monotheistic God.
I'm talking about reality.
So you're talking about
I'm
the Bible.
talking about
Hold on, where does the Bible?
The reality is human beings are over 300,000 years old. So if
I'm not denying that.
So if a book is telling you that
I'm not on that book, bro. Don't argue with me about the book.
I'm gonna land it. I'm gonna let you talk. I promise. If a book is telling you that
the book is not telling me nothing. I don't go by that book.
The book has a timeline.
I'm not going by that book, brother.
You can talk. Go ahead.
I'm not going by that book, brother. I'm not going by that book. Because even though that book has a timeline, I don't know if you do know, but the stories in that book come before that book. These creation stories are taken from somewhere else and put into that book. You're talking on a narrative of 6,000 years that was given to the people in that book about that book. Are you aware of that? Because I made it simple, like the host told me to do. Like the host told me to do. I made it very simple.
I'll let you talk. I'm gonna answer, right?
No. Sphinx.
I wasn't finished.
Sphinx, don't answer. Don't answer. Let the brother say his thing and make his conclusion. That's why the music is for him, Sphinx.
Yeah, can I not have the music though? Because you asked me to do something very clear, host. You asked me to make it clear for the people that are listening. There's 300 something people in here, you know, and we got to entertain them too.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna reduce the volume. Go ahead.
Do that.
Go ahead.
I do want to do that. So this God that we're talking about, it's referred to in the Bible. That's the most common thing since there's so many people in here. I talked about the monotheistic God, this one God that is in most of the mainstream religions, whether that be Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, but also these aspects of that God, whether it falls in Hinduism or Buddhism, cover most of the continents on the planet. But we're still talking about this God. So you wanted to jump down my throat about this God that's in the Bible that's 6,000 years old, and that's not what I'm referring to or talking about at all. The God I'm talking about is from the beginning of time and the beginning of creation, and he's referenced to in that book, in that common book or that popular book that's known as the Bible. When they talk about being made in his image and likeness, I bear witness to that in the way that I'm able to manifest and I'm able to create. And I'm also able to do that. Can you
manifest $1 billion into my bank account?
Yeah, just give me the account and routing number.
Hold up, you could manifest $1 billion into my bank account?
Did you hear what I said?
I mean, I can give you my cash app.
Did you hear the answer to?
I can give you my cash app. I don't feel safe giving you my account and routing number.
Well, then that's on you. You don't have faith in it.
Oh,
you said
shit.
Into your bank account. You didn't say cash app. That's another thing. I don't have cash app.
No. I use my cash app for banking.
I know, but I don't have cash app.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
All right, send me a DM. And then next time I'll come and advertise that the brother did send me $1 billion. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, if you send me that account and routing number.
Yeah, send me a DM.
That. How much time would you like it into your account?
I want
it sounds like God people to scammers.
I don't want a 7-day waiting period. I just want like 24 hours maximum.
24 hours,
$1 billion.
Take 3 to 5 business days. You know what I'm saying?
Hold up, 40 business.
That's not me. That's not me in God's will. I would get it to you instantly if I could, but I got a bank. I got a checking and a savings. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, bro. If you're gonna make me a promise like religious people do, then I might have to wait till I die. I'm gonna have to wait until I get to heaven to inherit my mansion.
Terms and conditions. Listen, that's the thing. You can't even do 3 to 5 business.
Oh, fuck that shit! I'm not getting scammed. I'm not getting scammed.
You better talk to the bank. You better talk to the bank. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
No, your bank of heaven went bankrupt.
I could do it.
The bank of your God went bankrupt. The bank of God went bankrupt.
I could do it.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
I'm not gonna drop. I'm not gonna drop Sphinx. Yeah, I want to have my mansion right now. I'm not waiting till I get to heaven. Fuck that shit. It's not like, because in heaven, what's the point of having a mansion? You can't even have an orgy or have beautiful girls or drink. You can't do all that cool shit in heaven. So why do I gotta wait to heaven to have a mansion? What the fuck am I gonna do in heaven in a mansion? Sing kumbaya?
Yeah, that's normally my
polish the walls.
But Bakanga, that's normally my argument for Christians and stuff like that. I'm like, you're praying to this God, I'm not praying to this deity. What in your life is better than my life because of your actions?
The only thing that's different is how they feel, to be honest. What's going on, Mr. Anders?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I believe in God.
Why?
Because it makes me feel better.
Well, you're an honest gentleman.
Yeah, that was pretty honest. I give it to him.
Thank you for your time, my brother. We don't have to fight. You and I, man. We are two respectable individuals that just encountered each other on the streets of TikTok. And your belief and your feelings is none of my business. I have no opposition against you. Thank you so much, okay?
Wait.
No, that's not further argument.
But I want to talk.
No. The reason why you believe in God is exactly what we say is. So guess what? We understand that you have many other awesome things to say, but it's not useful to us beyond that point. Thank you, okay?
But for me, this is useful.
No, yeah, it's not about you here. We just wanted to know the reason why you believe, and you are honest. It's about your feelings. We're not here to judge your feelings. It's not as long as you didn't claim that it's by facts. It's none of our business. If you had said it's because I have facts, it's because I have this, then we'll argue with you. But you said, huh?
I have facts.
He just want to argue.
No, I don't want to argue.
That's it. He just want to argue, dog.
All right, let's argue then. It's okay for me if you want to argue.
Oh shit!
So
that's what God
is,
people want to do. God people want to argue. That's what. Okay.
You are also God's people. So.
I'm not.
That's what you feel.
I'm an entire different type of entity that you never came across before in your life. There's no books about me or nothing like that. I'm a power that you never even came across.
Pharaoh, you want to take on this very difficult, challenging question?
I take on any questions.
All right, give me your smoking gun reason why you believe in God.
Wakanda, a lot has changed since the last time we spoke.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll start out with this. There's no reason to follow Jesus or God. So to me, how can I give you the analogy of this? Like, let's say that a father creates a child, and the father has not been around or has mistreated the child. If the child says that my father no longer exists to me, you wouldn't go back to the child and say, no, but you have to believe and you have to follow. So it's not just the existence, it's the actual following, Bakanda. So here's what got it. Here's what did it for me, because you always ask, hey, what was the reason for something or thing? I started thinking about Jesus and the time that he spent here on earth, right? So he cured the sick and he cured the blind, because he knew that curing the blind was a good thing. People had ailments, children, or young, maybe even born with blindness. So he healed them. Then he was, he went through the horrible sacrifice. He was executed, and then he rose after 3 days, according to the Bible. He was then on earth for 40 days before he ascended up.
Hey, Pharaoh, I got a quick question, and you could just continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you have a lot of respect for people that make sacrifices?
No, we could talk. Well, I can answer that after. Let me finish.
No, you don't have respect for people who make sacrifices.
Yeah, hold on, Sphinx. Let me just finish before I lose my train of thought. I can answer that question after. So he was on the earth for 40 days before he ascended up. He knew that his time was short here because he told the disciples that. I read it. As a father, I started wondering if I had my children, grandchildren, and others here, and I had been healing them because I either had the ability, the knowledge, the cure, the prescription, potion, whatever you want to call it, to heal the blind. During those 40 days, I would be doing my damn best to communicate those or make sure I leave an abundance of those, whatever it was that would be curing these blind, before I left. The fact that Jesus just said, I'll be back shortly, and didn't leave the solution for blindness or how he was curing kind of disturbs me. So it isn't, and there's other things as well. So it's not as much as if he exists or not. It's that I wouldn't follow someone that has that example.
So you're saying that you still believe in God, however, you've attended an idea of God that transcends a personal relationship with the biblical narrative. So you've come to the conclusion that God can exist even if the Bible narrative is completely false.
What I've concluded is it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if God exists or not, because even if God exists, I'm not interested in following them.
Oh shit! Welcome to enlightenment, brother Farah. Because even if a God exists, why would that God mind our business, right? Despite all the reasons why religious people think that God exists, what we observe is that God doesn't interfere with our day-to-day life. So even if God existed, the life we live and the world we live in is as if God does not exist. The default state of the world is as if God does not exist. And your natural conclusion, however you got there, is consistent with reality. So you don't have time to worry about fictitious things anymore, to whatever small degree it might have been left in your journey of deconstruction. And you don't even have to abandon the idea of God, because you're just at the point where it doesn't matter whether you believe or not. So guess what? Tomorrow, if you say you're a believer, no problem. If you say you're not a believer, no problem. In fact, the next argument you get into, no one can argue with you, bro. That's what I'm encouraging people to achieve. Because I know that you've always been kind of like, very critical of certain biblical narratives, but obviously everyone is growing. So you were naturally bound to get to the point where you overcame any insecurity associated with the idea of God as prescribed in the Bible, and you can observe how unnecessary it is. Somewhere within yourself, you found accountability and a way to govern yourself morally to the highest human level achievable to the best of your understanding. And bro, that's the only thing a human being can do.
That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
It's well said. Bakanga, I encourage others that, are still in the faith to critically look, because, I was always a free thinker and a critical thinker. And I always told you when we had our discussions, our lively, debatable discussions, I said, Bakanga, you're going to make my faith, once I research these things, stronger. Right? I don't think we should ignore challenges. We should research them. And I've researched them and I've come to conclusion. And it's not just what's in the Bible, it's what's not in there. So for example.
Oh man, Pharaoh. Yeah, bro, hold up. Y'all, listen carefully to what that man just said. That's right. It's not just about what's in the Bible, it's about what's not in there. Rule of communication number one, especially in intelligence, right? CIA or anybody that gathers intelligence. When you're collecting information, you don't just pay attention to what your asset tells you. You also pay attention to what your asset does not tell you. Lack of certain critical details is very exposing of deception, to where anyone who has any level of critical thinking can analyze it. So pay attention to what the brother just said. I'm going to let him continue his train of thought, right? It's not just what's in a book, in a Bible, in a religion, it's what's not. Right? The absence of a feminine character in terms of divinity makes Christianity entirely suspicious. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no female angels and, things of that lead it to...
the complete elimination of the feminine aspect of reality, as if we don't see that positive and negative are balanced, and the relationship between a man and a woman is not necessarily a hierarchy. It's actually one of balance. You know, a relationship between a man and a woman is not the one where the man dominates. It's the one where the man is a man and the woman is a woman. It's like they cannot switch, and they find a balance, you know, a balance which requires relating. So if you define the supremest idea I'm supposed to hold in my mind, but you don't incorporate something to represent literally half of my life, which is feminine energy, as far as what I interact with in reality, guess what? You haven't explained the world. Christianity is so misogynistic, it's least likely to be true out of all the Abrahamic religions. But
It's
go
very
ahead, Pharaoh.
difficult for me to have two daughters and to reconcile some of those things. But here's what, you know, and this is more of a personal thing, from a personal lens. But if God had not intervened with anything at all ever, I think there would be more of a fairness. But for me to swallow the idea that the children of Israel were enslaved, and he sent not 5, not 7, but 10 plagues to the slaveholders, and the 10th one being so severe that it was taking the firstborn of the slave captors, children. You know, he was serious about it. He did not appreciate that people were enslaved, and he knew that it was a horrible act. So then fast forward, and I learned about the love of Jesus and how Jesus says we're all God's children, and he loves us all. And it doesn't matter if you're a Jew or a Gentile or what have you, because we're all special in God's eyes. Okay. And then about 1,600 years later, the first slave ships come to West Africa. Now, my people are from Barbados. I don't know exactly which country, Bakanga, we've talked about this, but I know that my folks are from West Africa.
You know your roots enough, of course, so you can trace the history. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm American, but you know the deal, right?
Yes, sir.
So when I think about how many plagues did God send for the children of Africa?
It makes you wonder. Exactly. Yeah. I like that point. So God was willing to kill the firstborn sons of the Egyptians to set the Jews free, but God didn't do nothing when more than 100 million Africans died or were enslaved.
Right. And a very important thing that's actually in the text is, all right, we learned that slavery is the bad thing because God didn't want his Israelites to be enslaved, and he went through this whole, up and down to get them out of slavery. And immediately after he gets them out of slavery, he tells them where they could get their slaves. Makes no sense.
Yeah, he tells them to go and make other people slaves. Yeah, crazy, right?
Like literally, you go through all this process to get these people out of slavery, and then you tell those same people where they get their slaves from. But the clause is you can never enslave your own your own brothers, like Israelite brothers, but everybody else is up for grabs. That's not a God to me. It was never a God to me. It was nothing I could read.
What you're observing is literally Jewish supremacy or Israelite supremacy. That's exactly how systems of supremacies are structured.
Yes. So we can't say, or at least I can't say, that there isn't a God and a God to follow. But I think that it would be wise for the children of Israel to follow this God. But I don't think it would be too wise for me, since none of my children are from any of those 12 tribes, for me to follow. So this is the point that I'm making, is that, yes, it's possible God could exist, probably not. But if he does exist, he's not a God that I want to follow, because
so Pharaoh. So let me say, what if God knocked on your door today and somehow was able to answer all your questions and rationalize everything? Would you then have a good reason to then acknowledge the existence of one?
Yeah. So if God knocked on my door, based on the research that I've done over the last, I'd say 16 months in depth, I would be trying to lock him up, or I'd be trying to.
Hey, you should at least ask some questions. Maybe he can make it make sense.
Because think about this, Bakanga. He has already flooded the earth once. And if my Christian values are, I love my neighbor and I appreciate my neighbors, why would I not also love my past neighbors that I didn't know? They were swept up. Some of them were probably babies and pregnant women and etc. So he's already done that. But, I'm even willing to, even though as horrendous as it is, I might be able to give a pass. But then when you throw a threat on top of that, next time, guys, it's going to be by fire. Now what you're telling me is not only am I capable of wiping y'all out, but I'm telling you, I'm going to do it again. Should we not arrest someone like that? Do I want my children to suffer through fire?
Brother,
I
our
it would be
natural
my fatherly responsibility to hang him from the largest tree in my backyard.
Bro, it's our human instinct to be defensive against anything that threatens us. And as delusional as Christians are, and I really think it really is true delusion. You think that if a bunch of motherfuckers dressed in white pull up on a bunch of white horses, human beings are gonna be like, yeah, look, Jesus came back. No, even you're gonna be running for cover when you realize your ass did not get raptured, right? So binding, it's so it's. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I just respond? Fredo, yeah, you're typical. When I was asking questions, when I was in the Christian faith, you guys actually told me I wasn't Christian based on the questions and things. So now that you're calling me atheist, I mean, what do you want me to say? I don't mind the name calling. The most important thing is that as a father, I have a responsibility to protect my children and generations. And with this God as described, it's not someone that should be followed.
Bro, you know what is so sad about these religious folks? For some reason, they feel like atheist is a derogatory word. Nah, the same way you see the word atheist, that's the same way we see the word believer.
Well, just to give you a short story. I like when I was younger, because my mother's Trinidadian and my father's Mongolian, and so my mother she was a Shango Baptist from Trinidad, right? So we used to be forced to go to church. You could not go to church, or else you're gonna get a whooping, right? And they tell you, they make you read the Bible, but when you ask questions, nobody want to answer questions. And if you ask a really, really good question that they don't want to answer, it comes across as disrespect. And as a kid, you know what I'm saying, that just adds up to more whipping. So I have that deconstructing coming into my teenage years and then in my adulthood, and then now I have these grown conversations with Christians, and I realize that it's just that they can't answer questions
because their faith, listen, it's because their faith was never constructed out of them having answers to questions that they were asking. Their faith was constructed without any prior investigation, and they already drew conclusions and attached their emotions to those conclusions. So naturally, and raising questions will make a Christian or even any believer very uncomfortable, because what they don't realize they're doing is that they did not construct their belief entirely based on the logical reasons they sometimes give, entirely based on the questions that they ask. No, they constructed their belief majoritarily on faith, on the simple fact that we were told it's true, we were told if we question it we will be wrong, so we have believed it. Now anything anyone says is wrong. You just got to take what we got to give you. If we don't give you enough, then it is what it is. You just don't have enough faith. You see what I'm saying, bro? It's amazing how sometimes you think in order to manipulate human beings, you have to come up with this really complex scam. You have to come up with this really difficult scam. When in fact, if you really have access to human beings' minds, you don't need too complex of a scam to manipulate them. You just need to make them believe what you say, which to a certain degree, the governments of this world have mastered it. That's literally what we call propaganda. Okay. We believe everything about Iran because that's what we have been told. And we literally know that they have information that is classified, that if they share that information with us, it will change our perspective of what we know about what happened in Iran. But guess what? We don't know that.
Just like they did with China. Like once they shut down the TT and everybody went over to the Chinese app, they realized that China wasn't as bad as they thought it was. I think that's part of the reason why they brought it back.
Anyways, Pharaoh, you got anything else to add, my brother?
I just say I agree. I mean, part of professional skepticism, right, is the ability to understand that questions and critical questions, and if people are evading questions or people make things overly complex, yeah, there's probably a scam attached to it. I would just say that when we had those conversations last year, a little bit over a year, I was sincere. I wasn't trying to run a scam. And there's others that really believe, obviously, what they believe in.
So just in case you guys don't know, Pharaoh, let's give them some context, okay?
Yeah, give them some context.
So
I would have destroyed Sphinx. Let him know. Let Sphinx know he would have been no match.
No, honestly though, Pharaoh had a pretty decent position as a believer in God from the Christian perspective. And he played around the nuances enough to get away with certain basic arguments that you could make against a typical Christian. You probably wouldn't have been able to get him with the Adam and Eve question because he probably thought it was bullshit. It was going to be complex for you to get him the way he was looking at the Bible. And he had reached, when I met him, he was at the point in his deconstruction where he saw the Bible as allegorical and then literal, and then he just had to sort it out. Seems like he's come to understand that the whole book is allegorical, to be honest. And it's not an offense that we're trying to do towards religious people. It's if we use basic common sense and we stay true to ourselves, we cannot convince ourselves that it is anything other than what we see. I would have really loved for the Bible to be the word of God, but it doesn't read like the word of God. It definitely reads like a motherfucker who had no clue what the world would be like in 2025. You know what I'm saying, bro? So it's not my fault that I was born in this generation that I have access to all this information. I can examine a book that was written 2,000 years ago and see exactly the mistakes associated with their lack of knowledge. You know, it's simple as that. Anyways, guys, Pharaoh.
I think just one last thing. I think it's not just facts and research that's important, but I think also for me as a father of three, when I start to read the book from a fatherly lens, no longer a child when I brought up, you see a lot of things get exposed and things that you would say, I wouldn't do that as a father. I wouldn't do that if I was loving. How can I accept these values coming from this father? And I'll just give your 380 something followers here something to look up. Look at Deuteronomy 23, where it describes that if a bastard child or from an illegitimate union, meaning their mother and father were not married, they have no place in the synagogue or temple or coming to the Lord. To me, as a father, I would never, ever, ever, any of my grandchildren, when they come, say, hey, you know what? Your father, you know, he married this whore or whatever, and now, or he didn't marry her, and now I don't want you around this house. I don't want you here in the church or the synagogue. No, as a father, I would want those children even with me more or learning more so that they can understand this, how important matrimony is and other things that, you know, if you believe that it's so important that it's a sin if you don't, so that they would not make the same ill mistakes as the parents, but instead it was, no, you're banned, you can't get. So these are the types of things that it's not like finding facts and like the research thing of, well, wait a minute, the Euphrates doesn't really run through the Garden of Eden. Yeah, all of those things are there, but it's the things that we actually believe now, when you put them into practice,
it doesn't add up.
It just doesn't hold true of something you want to follow as a father.
Right. I mean, as a father, any parent listening to me right now, imagine that you were in Jericho and your wife literally just gave birth yesterday. Here's this motherfuckers outside of your city talking about they about to kill everybody. Okay, maybe you think that you might deserve to die because, you've lived and you've done some things. But your baby was just born. And these motherfuckers are pulling up talking about they're going to kill everybody. What did your baby do? How many of you? Bro, but what you do observe here is the same justification that colonizers have always used. Literally, that's what we see in the Bible. Okay, if I want to take your land, as long as I have a good excuse to justify myself, then there's no limit to how much atrocities I can commit. I can just say, God told me to do it. That's why we need to confirm that God actually told Moses to do it, because it's not unrealistic to imagine that even if the story is true, the only thing that could be false about it is that God never actually told Moses to go and conquer any land. And the reason why they had to wander around for 40 years is because those nations were strong. So they had to find ways to infiltrate. As we see in Jericho, they infiltrated Jericho. They didn't just walk up to Jericho and fucking fucked it up. No, if their God is almighty and the God sees everything, why did they have to send spies into Jericho to put a loin on the side of the window and all that blah, blah, blah? You know, why all the theatrics? Why did the sun have to stop in the sky just to destroy Jericho with goddamn musical instruments? Not only did they make up a bullshit story, but they lie. Anyways, guys, hold up. Let me say this real quick. Pharaoh used to believe in God, by the way, guys. This gentleman, Pharaoh, up here. And yes, I'll be honest, when he first met me, he wasn't typical as in a hardcore Christian, literally Bible. But you guys are witnessing the brother going through his own journey and arriving at his own conclusion. And every time I spoke with him, my intention was never to persuade him. But the brother is true to himself. He said he went back, and over the years, he's been analyzing data, having debates, and he's put himself in the position of a father, re-examine his religion, and his religion could not even pass his test from the lens of a father. Let's not even talk from the lens of a human, from the lens of a black man from Barbados, from the lens of a black man from Barbados who live in America, from the lens of someone who lives under the Trump administration. Just from the fatherly lens, he didn't even pass the test. Imagine if you looked at God from a motherly lens, right? Why did God have to fucking punish Eve in that level when God knows that Eve was gullible and that the serpent literally was the one who deserved the punishment? Why do all women now have to suffer during pregnancy? Why do women have to suffer every month through their period? What fucking kind of design is that? Right?
Yeah, that was one I noted as well. That was a big one for me. Is where's the mercy in that if the God is all merciful? And these are things, by the way, that I didn't go and just debate with Bakanga and others about. I went to my pastor, and my pastor and other pastors have told me that yes, at that time, bastard children are unclean. And I said, wait a minute, are you saying that a child is unclean or not the same value as another one simply because of what the parents' actions that they didn't marry? And that to me was just not something that I agree with.
The same people who are pro-life. The same people who are pro-life.
Don't worry, Bakanga, you know how critically I think of things. So I came back after I thought about these things, and I'll leave this with you, and I know you have other guests. So who is Jesus's mother? Mary, right?
Yes, sir.
Who is Jesus's father?
Apparently,
God.
So a holy dick.
For the purposes of this, we're gonna keep it trail. God. Did Mary or God ever marry?
Nope, it wasn't consensual.
So Jesus is a bastard.
Ooh.
It's under the definition of a bastard.
Yo, Christians right now.
I left you with a nugget.
Oh, bro, I don't know if TikTok allows that word, but yeah, you better go before they ban your ass.
Bastard is fine. Bastard is fine. He's an illegitimate child. His parents were not married. God and Mary were never married. He is a bastard.
I'm totally making a YouTube video on that, TikTok video on that. I'm totally making a TikTok video on that.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for the assistance in the deconstruction, and may you teach others. And remember, guys.
Oh my goodness,
zero plagues for Africa. The children of Africa, children of Brazil, other children that have been in slavery. He sent not 3, not 1, 0.
Hey VJ, thank you so much for that comment. I see it. It helps with the algorithm. Believe it or not, it does. But bro, I wouldn't lie to you. Bro, in all my years of criticizing Christianity, I have never blatantly even thought it to that conclusion. Like, it's freaking crazy, man. But it's literally true. That by the definition of what a bastard is, that's exactly what Jesus is.
Right. Actually, I feel like Mary should have been on Maury Povich, but that's another conversation.
Andrew, guys, time is running out. So when you come up, go straight to your point, okay? I don't want to play linguistic gymnastics with nobody.
I'm live? Cool. What's up, my guy? I still believe in God.
Give me your smoking gun reason why you believe in God.
Well, I've simply seen a lot of evidence to support the belief in God. And it's like,
just give me your smoking gun. Give me your smoking gun evidence why you believe there is a God.
I feel like I have too much of a relationship with God.
Okay.
To not believe.
Oh no, don't worry. We don't need to argue any further, brother. I totally understand you. It is just a feeling, and I will never argue with your feelings. So feel like you want, brother. It's okay. My statement remains true. God is make believe. And I said, why do you believe in God? And you said it. You feel, bro.
Well, it's faith. Well, it's faith, and you were kind of bashing on faith earlier,
brother.
Like you have faith too.
Brother, it can be whatever you want to, as long as we can both agree it is how you feel, and you are entitled to feel like God exists. Feel away, brother. Feel away, feel away, feel away, feel away. There is no fight between you and I. Cause God lives in your
I was just
head.
hoping.
No, it's okay, bro. I understand that God lives in your head. It's okay. And that you have every right. No one can say you're wrong. Now, if you had claimed that it was a fact, then I can argue with the facts, but I cannot argue with your feelings. So if it already works for you as a feeling,
If I can prove that the devil exists, then would that prove that God exists?
give me your best reason, your smoking gun reason why you believe that the devil exists.
Well, I have schizophrenia. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you trolling. You trolling. You trolling.
That one.
You
That one was for
trolling.
me.
You trolling. Nah, you trolling, bro.
Yo, he said.
He
I was waiting for
trolling.
that.
He trolling.
I'll be honest with you. Like, a bigger part of my deconstruction, even though I deconstructed a long time ago, my mind was blown when I realized I never paid attention to the timeline of the Bible. So I went and I started.
That's why your ass is using that same argument. He's like, let me punch with this. You're like a boxer with one move, one KO move.
Hey, listen,
jab, 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 jab until your opponent is knocked out.
Chung Lee used the kick. You know what I'm saying? Zangief used the slam. You know what I mean?
Hey. Naruto used the shuriken. Hey, what's going on, doofus? One Piece used the Gomi Gomi no Mi. What's going on, doofus?
I think they trolling or something. I don't know what's going on.
To infinity and beyond.
Typical Christian behavior.
You want me to bring on a practicing witch? If you know any witch, tell them to come here. I will give them the African backhand slap. I told you, if you want to fix witchcraft, a slap can solve any witchcraft problem you have in your family. The next time you encounter someone who says they're a witch, give them a solid slap. If they feel it, if they can feel that slap, they're a scammer. Witch. So you're a witch. You don't feel pain. Because if you feel pain, you better not come within my arm's range. You will receive slap. Anyways, BBH, what's up?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing just all right. Go ahead. Give me your smoking gun reason why you believe in God.
So what
Venus.
God doesn't exist? So what God does not exist? Just the God of the Bible?
Give me your smoking gun reason why you believe in God.
I don't know. So what God does not exist?
You don't know why you believe in God?
Listen, you're not okay. Answer my question, please.
No. There's no need to answer the question. The question is, why do you believe in God? I think you understand the question. Answer that question.
Oh, okay, so let me tell you why I believe in the God of the Bible. Because
Brother, listen to me. Give me your smoking gun reason why you believe in God. However you want to categorize it, just make it make sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not talking to you. I'm not going to argue with someone about Santa Claus. So if your reason why you believe in God sounds like Santa Claus to me, brother, then I'm just going to have to accept you as you are. So go ahead. Give me your smoking gun reason why you believe in God.
Because I believe in God because the people like you guys who just don't believe in him. That gives me a clear reason to believe him. You guys stay on these platforms and only talk about there's so many gods, but you guys focus on this one God, and that's the God of the Bible. Why do you guys think you guys do that?
Because that's the God who is responsible for the most fucked up things in the world.
Yeah,
because
out of all the gods, that one is the most fucked up one. So if we can get rid of the most fucked up one, it'll be real easy to get rid of the other ones. You always start with the fucked up motherfucker, right? We're going straight to the big boss. We're going straight to the big boss. We're not going to the little guys. We're going straight to the big guy.
God's gonna deal with y'all.
Well, he couldn't deal with Israel bombing Iran. He couldn't deal with your grandmother when she was sick. He couldn't deal with all these Christians that are suffering like everybody else. Don't worry about your God dealing with me. Your God ain't gonna do shit to me that he ain't gonna do to you. So what's the point of you believing? You're gonna die just like me, and you're gonna die in some random way just like me. So your believing God is practically useless. Bro, your reason for believing in God is embarrassingly shameful. You don't even have a good reason why you believe in God. You don't even know if you believe in God. Simple as that. The reason why I do this specific topic is because in all my years of talking to religious people, I just came to understand, holy shit. Why would any reasonable adult go to kindergarten and argue with a bunch of kindergarten kids if Barbie is just a doll or if she's really spiritually real? Why would anyone that got too common sense in their head do that? So once a religious person sounds like they have a 5-year-old's level of reasoning, you need not engage in any further conversation, bro. Simple as that.
But if you listen to what he said, right? He said, and this what stood out to me the most. He said, "Why do y'all sit up here and talk about God of the Bible all day? Why are you up here listening to us talk about God of the Bible all day?"
But he has on every news program, bro. Y'all the one who started promoting your shit first. Shit, if religious people just stop promoting their religion, all of a sudden no one will be over here saying there's no God. Nah, guess what? Y'all made God relevant by pretending like it's real. So now we're gonna make God relevant by reminding you that we know you're pretending. You are free to pretend, but I am not free to pretend because you're pretending. Like I said, the God you believe in takes the shape and form that you make it in your head. You just don't know that. It's embarrassing and shameful that you don't know when you're making something up in your head and when you're not. As respectable, as accomplished as you can be as a human being, just a waste of brain. You just wasted all your life. Okay? There's so much more to the human experience outside of the boundaries that have been put in our minds. You will find yourself being more loving, more caring, more understanding of your fellow human beings if you remove whatever idea of God you got in your head right now. Chances is, whatever idea of God you got in your head affects your relationship with certain humans. Hey, Sphinx, bro. It's about that time, man. I appreciate you coming up here, man. Hour and 23 minutes, bro. Sphinx. You hear me, bro?
Hello. Yes, you can hear me. You can hear me. You can hear me.
Yeah. I said thank you for coming up here, bro. I really appreciate you, man. It was an hour and 23 minutes. It's not bad sometimes to bring up people. Yeah, I like this format. Hey, it's not that bad.
Listen, we definitely need people like you, and I like when I tell you I appreciate you, bro. I'm about to show you some appreciation, but like we appreciate people like you because at least we get these people to think.
Bro, it's not just people like me, bro. It's not just people like me. You know why you were able to hang out here for 1 hour and 23 minutes and wouldn't bump heads? It's not that we agree on everything. It's just that we understand the basic, which is you and I both have the ability to separate fact from fiction. So now, whatever conclusion we draw from the facts, we can even disagree with that. Whatever conclusion we draw from the fiction, we can disagree with that. But I cannot deny the fact that this motherfucker know how to box. Now, imagine some motherfucker pull up in the ring and he can't even walk straight, and he believe he Mike Tyson. That's what these religious people be like when they come up here, bro. So listen, whatever credit you give me also belongs to you. It belongs to everybody out there who has been able to overcome the fictitious beliefs that were given to us and imposed upon us as if it was real, and they literally watched us grow into gullible adults while allowing us to believe it because it was financially gullible. You already know human beings will never fuck up their money, and the religious leaders have been making money off religion for a long time. So it's not in their best interest to tell people that it's not real, not to take it too seriously into adulthood. As a child, it's understandable because we allow children to believe gullible shit, but not adults. Not in a world of problems. If you believe in gullible shit as an adult, you're going to end up causing more problems than bringing solutions. Thank you so much, my brother. I really appreciate you. Like I said, I like this format, bro, because, you know, it's not like it's just me. And I'm not making any specific point that is outside the reach of anyone here to understand. The reason why Christians here get angry at us is because they have an emotional connection to that belief when it's literally just one out of thousands. You feel me, bro?
Facts. Absolute facts. Man, you have a good night, man. Thanks
You
for
too.
having
You
me.
too. Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. Feel free to come back anytime, man. Appreciate you. Don't worry, Venus. I got you next time, Venus. You came late today, Venus. You came late today. All right, let me take a few more guests before I get out of here. Hello?
Bakanga,
Yes, sir. Give me a reason why you believe in God, good brother.
just a quick question. Do you do like an after hours show where it's just like an open mic, people that have questions, or no, you just stick to the topic?
Do you have questions?
Last time, I don't know if you remember, but we talked a little bit about marriage in this generation.
Yes, I remember.
I mean, that's like so off topic, so maybe we'll save it for another day, but I just want to know, like, do you do
You know what? Shoot away. Now make it brief though, but shoot away. Whatever point you want to make.
do you think that love exists in this generation, or do you think it's just opportunity?
I think that love as an idea is a real idea, and then as expressed emotionally is a real feeling that people have. Yes. I think that you can look at someone and like them so much that they arouse a feeling inside of you. I think the human beings actually experience admiration at that level. But I don't think that love is efficient in building a long-lasting structure of discipline. But love is real, right? Love is real to that extent. But if you're in a relationship, I would not advise you to make love the major building block of your relationship. I think that you and whoever you're in a relationship with should have what I call a professional relationship. So your girlfriend or your wife is not just your lover, she's also your business partner. So when you're dealing with your girlfriend, for majority of the day-to-day life things, you should do with her as a business partner. What exactly is this business? The business is a family. Now, what is love? Love is the currency that you use to exchange value. But the biggest building component in a relationship should be that common understanding that we are here to facilitate each other's survival, and we will not make it without each other. Now, there's also one bad thing about love. I don't know. I mean, of course you are. You're familiar with the story of Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When human beings romanticize the idea of love, human beings have come to a conclusion that agape love is the highest level of love. What is agape love? Like unconditional love. The best example of a story that might depict unconditional love is the story of Romeo and Juliet. Romeo loved Juliet without condition. Juliet loved Romeo without condition. So much that if Romeo dies, Juliet will refuse to live.
Yeah.
Right? So their love was the fictitious idea of love. Two people that love each other so much that they literally cannot live with each other. But that fictitious idea of love, bro, is not realistic. There's no one in this world that's gonna love you to where they want to die with you. And if such people exist, they are very rare. So you know what that means, bro? No matter how much your wife loves you, she has a limit. She has a limit to how much she can love you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally get that. And another thing is kind of to do with the religious topic. I grew up pretty religious in a religious household. So I'm just wondering, with removing these programs as I get older, how do I build that foundation in a household? Because religion was kind of my foundation of like morals. So if I take that out and build my own household, like how do I know what to substitute that with?
Good. You just have to look at your society and look at what your society defines a successful man to be. What is a successful man in your opinion? In terms of a family man, what would you say a successful family man would look like? Tell me.
Protect and provide for his family.
Okay, provide in which way?
Resources, whether it's
emotionally and physically, right? So your job is to protect your wife physically and emotionally. Your job is also to protect and provide for your wife physically and emotionally. And then when you and your wife work on your business would make profit. Thus profit is the children. You also protect them emotionally and physically. So whatever method you have to use, whatever skills you have to gain, whatever education you need to get, go and get the education necessary to be a man who's emotionally intelligent and has a high IQ to make money and provide for his family. That's all you need to be. You just need to You need to be successful at your endeavors in life. Look at the world around you and ask yourself, what can I be? Can I be a doctor? Okay, go to school, become a doctor, right? So how do I manage? And then you also have to learn certain other skills, basic skills like time management. How do I manage the demand that being a doctor puts on me, along with the demand that my family needs from me emotionally? Just my presence for my kids is enough. I need to be with my wife, right? And you need to understand your wife. You need to be able to be with your wife enough to where she doesn't miss you to the point where she begins to lust after other men, right? You want to be that kind of man. And if reading a religious book to help you understand a philosophical idea is necessary, read a religious book. Just because you're not in religion doesn't mean that you cannot study religion. No, we know that from religious texts, from the perspective of poetry, can be a good read. It can inspire you to come up with your own ideas. No one is saying not to do that. If you got to go to Buddhism, go to Buddhism. Hinduism, go to Hinduism. Philosophy, go to philosophy. Just examine yourself. Come to an understanding of the skills you think you have. Develop those skills. Develop your character, brother. And, you'll be fine. There's many resources out there. And if at any point you need help, there's all types of therapies. Yeah. Therapy, first and foremostly, is a professional person whose job is to learn how to listen. Listening is a skill. Okay? If you're being vulnerable to a person who doesn't know how to listen, it will hurt you more than it will help you. Because there's a type of listening where you cannot be too critical, but you still need to be critical enough to allow that person to also think critically to find a solution to their problem. So you have all the resources you need to build a family, my brother. And there are many examples of men around you. Look for men in your life that they might not be perfect, but they've made mistakes that you can learn from without making. Find mentors. Look around you. Always be willing to learn.
Thanks, Bakanga.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I'm not just preaching to you, by the way. This also applies to me, right? Yeah. One day I'm going to have a family too. So these are all just the lessons that, for example, think of this as we will go to class, we learn the theories, then we have to go to the lab and we have to do the experiments. So you and I right now, what I'm just telling you is a theory. There's no guarantee that if we go to the practice, I'm going to be better than you. No. So think of it that way. Yeah. It applies to me. So it's not because I'm better than you. No. So I'm not advising you, brother. I'm trying to inspire you.
Thank you. I think where I'm at in my journey is the process of unlearning and breaking some of these contracts that I made with myself in terms of like agreeing with the certain beliefs that I had in the past and figuring out ways to let go of it fully, like mentally break free from them. So just trying to figure that out first. But yeah, I guess
so. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you a thief?
Am I a thief? No.
So if someone accused you to be a thief, what would you say? How would you defend yourself?
I would ask for evidence. If I've stolen anything, I would say
but
no.
Before, of course, when you deny it, how will you deny it?
With my words.
How?
I'm not a thief. Like I'll make a statement. I'm not a thief.
How do you know you're not a thief?
Because I haven't stolen anything.
So you know yourself well enough to know what you're not, right?
Yeah.
So you should also know yourself well enough to know what you are, right?
Yeah.
And what you are is what you can do, right? Because if you were a thief, then a thief can steal. But you know that you're not a thief.
Correct.
Because you didn't steal.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. It's that simple. So what skills do you have? Tell me. Are you technically inclined?
Well, I'm a finance major. I'm working in my field. I just graduated 2021, so a couple of years I've been working in my field.
Are you gonna go on to get your master's?
Probably, yeah.
All right. Now, how about your emotions? How do you deal with that as a man? Do you allow yourself to be vulnerable?
That's kind of a good question because I grew up in a household where, I had siblings that were bipolar schizophrenia. So I've been in that environment where emotions go crazy. But for me, I've been able to learn from their experiences. And I think that's kind of helped me regulate my own emotions.
I see. Let me give you one little bit of a statement. Bro, there's another reality about the world that is not often emphasized to us as we grow up. Don't forget that as time goes by, your life, the difficulty of life increases. The only reason why human beings can live long is because there are real ways to improve your skill, your strength, and your pain tolerance. at a quicker rate than life gets difficult. So life technically doesn't get easier the older you get. Life naturally gets more difficult, no matter how rich or poor you are, to the point where you could be in your 50s, but once your bones start giving out, once your organs start failing, not even money can save you. So there's this understanding that you must possess, that there's a time sensitivity. So you being in your 20s, you're in the middle of your prime. Think to yourself, the strength you have right now, the energy, the patience you have right now, how long will your body be able to endure that? That will also help you to understand how quickly you have to go with executing your plans.
True.
Life does get difficult, okay? The more you get older, the more responsibility you're going to have. Remember how you went from just crying for milk and your parents would bring you milk? Then all of a sudden, when your parents brought you milk, you know, it was no longer breast milk. It was now like artificial milk. Then all of a sudden, now your parents will not give you milk, but they'll give you food. But once your parents put the food in your mouth, you had to learn how to chew. So eventually, you grew up and you could run. Then all of a sudden, you couldn't stay at home anymore. Now you had to go to school. Oh, shit. And when you're in school, your parents are not there. Whatever they need you to do, you do it by yourself. And before you know, you're old enough, you got to go to high school. Now you're doing way more by yourself. All the shit your parents used to do for you, they don't do anymore. Now you're graduating high school and your parents will be like, okay, time to get a job. All of a sudden now, your parents don't give you money anymore. You have to get your own money. Before you want to know, you've graduated college and you got college debts. You're the one who has to pay it. Before you know, you're old enough, it's time for you to get married. You have to spend money to do it. And then you also have to have a good enough job to get a house, and then provide for your wife and your children. As time goes by and your children grow up, your children are gonna get sick. Tragedy is gonna happen. Bad things are gonna happen. People you know, as you get older, are gonna start dying. Many more people will die the older you get, and then it's gonna have a toll on you emotionally and physically. And then your body is also starting to degrade because now you're up there in age. Eventually, you're in your sick bed, half blind, half paralyzed, and you're 90 years old. And guess what? The lights just go off just like that. That's the reality of the world. So examine your life very well. And don't let anybody waste your time. Not a woman, not a man, not your father, not your mother. Because I'm telling you, bro, there is no human being in this world right now who loves you so much that if you died, they're going to be like, hold up, don't close the casket. Let me get in there first. There is no one in this world that loves you that much. So love is good as a tool, but it cannot be the only tool. And make sure it's not the most important tool. It is an important tool, okay? But it's not the most important tool. And you have to be careful with love. Love is like a razor blade that is sharp on all edges. Whatever you love, you're going to hate the opposite. Whoever you love, you're going to hate anyone that hurts them. So the amount of love you're willing to have, you should only be ready to handle the equivalent amount of hatred towards whatever is opposite or threatens or brings pain and suffering to what you love. That's why people fight and kill to protect their wives, their families, because of love. You know, all the hatred in our world is because we love something. You know, if Iran hates America, it's because they love Iran so much that they hate anyone that's opposite. If Muslims love Islam, they hate anything which is not Islam. That's why love, you know, love will always make you to compromise your judgment. You know, you always have the tendency to be more lenient towards what you love than what you don't love. You care more for what you love than what you don't love. And that kind of caring is not good if you're a judge. And we are all judges.
Thank you, big bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, bro. Please keep coming to share your journey with me, my brother.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, indeed. See, the beauty is that everybody finds their journey, including you. Okay? And life is more fun when you write the script for your own life. If you let somebody else dictate the script for your life, you will only be as good as that person wants you to be. If you let somebody else dictate the script for your life, you will only be as good as that person wants you to be. If the value you give yourself comes from the Bible, you only be as good as the motherfuckers in the Bible tell you are. And you know how good the Bible says you are? You ain't worth shit. You are a useless, filthy sinner, the Bible says. If you believe that, think about how much of a disadvantage you put on yourself emotionally. Will you teach that bullshit to your kids? How many of you will teach your children that they are worthless, useless, not good enough sinners that can never do anything good, that must believe in a God, if not they will burn? How many of you literally would tell your children that? That's crazy. How is that shit not child abuse? You feel me, y'all? You feel me? Hey, VJ, I don't know why you're saying a request, but let me bring you up nonetheless. I thought it was accidental. Hello?
Oh, I didn't mean to send that.
I
Drop me
imagine.
back down. How you doing? How
I'm
you
doing
doing?
great. I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I love your show.
Thank you so much. I know. I know.
Okay.
Yes,
Have a good
ma'am.
evening. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for 150,000 likes. I appreciate it, y'all. It did help out with the algorithm today. There was 7,182 people that came through altogether. 27 gifters. Thank you for the gifts, guys. And by the way, guys, if you like what I'm doing, and I inspire you, I help you out through your journey of deconstruction. That's my goal. You can definitely hit me up in the Cash App. The link is in the description. I'm going to put up on the screen right before I leave. That's only if you have something to give, okay? You have something to give. In fact, now that I came to offering time, let me actually talk about something I was thinking about today, guys. I don't think that it's a bad thing to give money to your church. I just think that what's bad is how the church asks you for the money. Because we're all charitable people, and under the right circumstances, we will all give charity. Whether you're an atheist or not, we have good enough hearts, right? So, of course, if you sit down in a building and they tell you that, oh, look, since you're a member of this organization, we have a building fund, can you please contribute? Naturally, most people would give. Even those of us who say that we're not believers, if we find ourselves in those situations, we would give. So, what's wrong is not the fact that we give. What's wrong is the fact that we are scammed into giving. Any pastor who says to you, sow a seed, is a thief. Any pastor who tells you to sow a seed and that God will reward you with a harvest is a thief. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you don't plant a seed on another man's farm and think you're going to get a fucking harvest. You don't plant a seed on another man's farm and think you're gonna harvest. The church is the pastor's farm. If you plant your seed on that farm, you ain't gonna harvest. And even if you harvest, my friend, it's not gonna be bountiful. So never should you give when solicited to give as a result of someone persuading you that if you sow a seed, the seed will multiply. That does not happen. Money does not multiply when you give it to people for free. Money does not multiply when you give it to people for free. If you want to give because you like the idea that the church should have a building, give. But if you're going to give because you think that you're sowing a seed, my friend, you are being scammed. You're being scammed. And even, why are you building the building? The building doesn't belong to you. Who owns the building of your church? Who has the final say? Who has the final say? How is it possible that there are some Christians out there that truly believe that nonsense? Sow a seed. Sow a seed into the kingdom of God. How can you sow a seed into a kingdom that has everything? That needs nothing. Like, did God forget to plant some seeds in heaven? So now God needs you to fucking sow a seed? For real. To the point where you even have preachers, or should I say thieves, that are so arrogant to tell their congregation, close these doors until we get $40,000. Bro, who the F are you that you think you can lock a door and force me to give you money? But maybe some Christians don't mind that. And if you don't mind that, no problem. It's just very strange to us that a person would not mind being blatantly scammed. If your pastor says to you, hey guys, I didn't have food to feed my kids last week. Oh guys, I need new shoes. Hey guys, listen, The most honest preachers are also the ones that steal the most. All those famous preachers that straight up come and tell their congregation, you guys need to buy me a new private jet. Those are very honest people. They're telling you exactly. Buy me a private jet. You're not buying Jesus a private. Bro, did you know that Jesus used to fucking fly? Why the fuck you need a private jet when the Holy Spirit could just pick you up and drop you up where you gotta be? Would that not actually increase your faith? Why you have to waste 8 hours sitting in a private jet to fly from America to Europe when the Holy Spirit can just do that for you like that? Like it did for Philip. If what the Bible says happened to Philip, how Philip was teleported. Teleportation is in the Bible, guys. The Bible literally has teleportation. How come all the followers of Jesus are not just over here teleporting to different parts of the world and preaching the gospel? Bro, do you know how crazy that would be? I don't think anyone would doubt that God existed if Christians could teleport. You just get up in the morning, pick up your Bible, stand in front of your door and say, Holy Spirit, take me to Egypt, pyramids. You can just stand in front of your door in Southside Chicago and be like, Holy Spirit, take me to Iran. Boom, Holy Spirit will take you to Iran. But your preacher has to depend on the same private jet that the worshippers of Satan and all the atheists and unbelievers depend on. Listen, y'all. If you and all the members of your church stop giving money to your church for 1 year, will your church survive? If you and all the people in your church stop giving money to your church every week for 1 year, will your church survive? Listen, yo, if your church cannot survive, that's how you know that you are literally being scammed by somebody who is running a business. And if you really want to stay in that religion, just open your own church, start your own ministry. Why do you think there's so many young Christians? Everybody's a prophet these days. Everyone has their own ministry because they see that there is monetary value within being in leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, I thank you guys so much. If you're not following me on YouTube, check it out. There's the links in the description on the screen. I can't leave it on the screen too long because TikTok is very judgmental. They don't like when you direct people off their app. There goes my Cash App on the screen. Anybody who's feeling generous, got some pocket change, definitely feel free to throw it in here. I think it's about time I make some money on TikTok because the time I invest here is good. And if you don't feel like I gave anything of value, you're not compelled to. But if you feel like the brother here did some stuff, hit me up in the Cash App, yo. Let me check my